And there we go. Hello. How's everyone?
We're doing great,
Yay!
Squee. Aren't we, guys?
I fear puked.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys. You're joshing me.
So silly.
So
No, really, I'm okay.
silly guys. So welcome back to Curse of the Crimson Throne. Session something or other.
One of those.
I don't remember these things. 80 something or other. I was thinking about it, guys. 80 something. That's crazy.
I think
Yeah,
the one that just went up
considering-
is 83.
Yes, so this would probably be 85. I think.
No,
We'll
this
find out one day.
totally 84 because, you're definitely not behind, Squee,
No.
aren't you?
What are you talking about? I am so far behind. Thank you for trying to be generous, but let's be real here.
So,
That's
is there
what
any?
sarcasm has to do with all of that.
You guys like your wagons? The nice
They
wagons?
look lovely.
Yeah?
Thankfully, it's not nearly as garish a green as I was picturing. That's
Gotta redo them.
I adore the purple myself. It's very nice.
You just love purple in general, Squee.
I do. I actually, I had someone at my job today try and make fun of my my purple cup. I know, right? And they were like, "That's a purple cup." I was like, "It is," and they're like, "That's a girl color." I was like, "It was when we were 6, and then I grew up." Did you? Yeah, great way to make
Fucking
new
nailed
impressions.
it.
That's
That guy's
amazing.
gonna be your friend forever now.
I know.
Besties.
It's all right. It's fine.
You should buy him a matching purple cup too.
Right? Oh,
Be like, dude, I thought we could be bros over a purple cup.
right. You
Here.
seem to have such interest in it.
Also, who doesn't like a free awesome coffee cup?
Actually, it's a Yeti, or well, it's the knockoff Yeti. What is it, Arctic? Yeah, Arctic.
Oh. Well then, shit. He should be really happy
Right?
to receive one of those.
Right.
I mean, those are awesome.
So, my lovely players, would anyone like to give a recap?
I can give a recap, but I also have an inspiration.
Is anyone else requiring of inspiration that would like to do a recap?
I've got mine.
Okay then.
Yes, deafening silence.
I'll do you again.
I want to, but I'm brain dead from the entire day.
That's fair.
Well, if you'd like to, Amelia, you certainly can, and then give inspiration to one of your choosing. You can make them
Can
vie
I give
for it.
inspiration to Annika?
Yes, because you do recap so often, I would let you give inspiration to Annika.
Oh, fuck, yeah, sure.
Sorry, I'd
Sorry.
forgotten to add a couple tokens, so there we go. Now the whole gang's here.
That sounds
Definitely not
better.
sketchy. Anyways, so yeah, when last we left, everything was fine. No one was freaking out. Amelia's mother definitely didn't think she was pregnant with Robin's child. Jesus fucking Christ. So yeah, apparently, Ilda, Amelia and Annika's mother, is going to be learning about necromancy stuff from Amelia and Robin to try and figure out what's going on, and she has demanded that they use her body to replace Annika's, which nobody but her seems to be very interested in. She also pretty much all but threatened to rip Robin a new one should he try anything shady. Oh yeah, Miri is going to be adopting Shala and Aras, which is going to be very interesting considering
Mhm.
Aras's father is here now. And yeah, that seems about it. I don't remember anything else important. I mean, I think there was something about like spooky specters turning into people that most of us like despise and would ruin our lives or something like that, but it doesn't seem really important, you know?
Now I'm with you. It's like a minor footnote. Something about
Yeah, yeah.
Robin freaking out because of a
Mhm.
past relation or something.
Mm-hmm.
I love that I was left out of that entire thing.
I know, right?
Oh, and Ria's perfect, and apparently she, you know, did the do with her girlfriend Fade Black. It was fun.
More to the point, Rhea found out that ever since the day she's met Shala, they've been intertwined. As Shala was performing her first job on the night she met Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
So, a couple never more meant to be together. Well done. When we last left the session, you and all, I will cover this. Give Annika inspiration. There you go. Since Laura somehow it slipped her mind accidentally, the four of you, Robin, Amelia, Aras, and Murray, have been cursed, I guess is how you would say it, by Eli, one of the Valentine family. The curse is a very rare and powerful one that Robin and Amelia know somewhat about. It is a necromantic spell that causes a specter from your past, a tormentor in your life, to attach to you and to haunt you, with the purposes of driving you insane and therefore making you an easier target to kill. At least that's the purpose of the spell. And Aras has been visited by the specter of her father, James Ulcer, who, surprise, is dead. That was shocking. Rolth, who, surprise, is not dead because you were there when it happened. And a young-looking 12-year-old human girl-ish, I say ish, with dark curls and light skin and violet eyes by the name of Nimara, who apparently knows Robin somehow. Quite familiarly, the way she acts. Perhaps they were yoga buddies. And Weary was to be visited by a specter that almost broke Murray until she realized that Paula. I don't know why I said Holly. Paula appeared, the gnome that she has made friends with, the former champion of Sarenrae that has visited Murray several times in her dreams. Which I don't think we've covered in session before, Murray, but she has visited you several times in your dreams. This is not like the second time the two of you are meeting. I know we've covered that out of session, but I don't think we've ever mentioned that in session.
Gotcha. Yes, they are. They're pals.
They're buddies. They're chums. It turns out that Paula saw, who's been kind of following Murray around as best she can, saw who Eli was trying to summon to Murray and intervened, as a former champion of Sarenrae does still have some power. So all's well that ends well, as far as I'm concerned. We'll go ahead and pick this session back up right about where we left off. You all are outside, in front of the main house. It's early in the morning, and you are all getting together and having a powwow about your new friends. I am willing to throw this to you guys. However, before we get started, because I don't take enough time to do this kind of thing, I'd like to run by each of the players and just check in real quick. Obviously, last session was a bit traumatic for a few of you, and I just want to check in and see how my player characters are doing. Let us start. You know what? Let's start with Rhea. How's Rhea feeling right now? It's kind of confusing right now, isn't it?
Yes. Everything was going fine, and then Amelia showed up and this shit happened.
God
She
damn it,
doesn't
Amelia.
know what's happening?
How dare you, Amelia?
Yeah, that's me. Just ruining
Just-
everything.
Just
Sorry.
had to come, like, knocking on the door. Just let them sleep in. It's fine.
You guys are just overreacting.
Ugh, I don't have one. Just relax.
But what is her general state of mind right now? That you've seen how Robin's reacting. How, I mean, you know Rolth. At least you've met him when you guys fought and killed him. You don't have any clue who's floating over Ross, other than
Oh, well, I would have seen him at the banquet when we
you would
first
have.
met.
That is true. And Ross has mentioned that she did say father. So you do know it's her father, but it's not someone you're very familiar with.
Yeah, and she has told in the past who her dad was.
Correct. And in fact, I believe, Ross, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe, at least in front of most of the party, we did discuss that your father seemed to have... yes, Vincolo mentioned it. Your father had disappeared and no one knew where he was.
Yes, that's why she had tried to hire a private
PI. Yeah, that poor guy. Oh, we need to check back on him someday.
But yeah, I mean, she's definitely confused. She's a bit concerned as to why some of these familiar faces and one very much not so are here and are seemingly attempting to torment her party members. I think she's holding ISO, so she's probably trying to keep her out of everything.
She is. ISO has been given to you, and ISO is quietly clinging to you. Her face has been impassive this whole time. And you have no specter.
Yeah.
So I'll move on to Aras. How's Aras feeling? There's got to be a lot of shock going on right now.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot going on. Interestingly enough, she had a list of people she wanted to confront or interact with before she went back to the Swansea, and her father was up on that list pretty high. So she's a little weirded out because she was just thinking about him and then he shows up. And, you know, I mean, she's totally cool with the idea of going back to see the Thousand Bones and the rest of the group. And, you know, there's no problems there at all.
What about the knowledge that your father must have at some point died? How does Aras feel about that?
Well, I'm curious. Does she actually, like, was that actually mentioned? Because, I mean...
It was when Amelia and Robin explained the spell. It was someone who tormented you in life but is now dead.
Okay. I mean, she's sad about it. She's not, you know, devoid of emotions, but she's not super torn up either.
Right. It's kind of a shock and maybe a pang of sadness, but, you know, how can you really miss someone you didn't know that well, right?
I think it's more shock, and once she asks him and finds more details about it, maybe it'll go one way or the other.
Gotcha. All right. Robin! Dear Robin, it's been a very eventful morning for you. In fact, it's been a very eventful day. So many emotions. Amelia's mother is pretty rad. You are fairly confident that maybe you can fix this whole Annika-Amelia thing. Friends, old friends coming to visit.
Oh, man. The panic and control right now. It's pretty much capped.
Yeah, that's unusual. I mean, Robin almost always seems in control. Even in some of the more dire straits that we've seen this party, Robin's always seemed pretty, I don't want to say aloof, that seems unkind, but sure of himself and kind of just rolling with the punches. This is a very different Robin than I think anyone's seen before.
There's definitely become some complications to his life and a lot of things that he's going to have to consider in a very short amount of time, most of which is the determination to limit interaction with this person with the entirety of the group. That's just bad.
I personally don't think that's necessary, but I can understand the feeling. But so suffice to say, Robin's emotional state at the moment is shaky.
Vastly unstable, barely pieced together.
Gotcha. Murray. Man, what a roller coaster for Murray there. A few seconds, a good 30 seconds or so of utter despair as you knew what was coming, replaced by utter shock, and then replaced again by seeing your friends and their reactions to everything. What's Murray's mindset right now?
Oh, she just lost a few years off her life, just from sheer stress. If you're looking very closely, you can see that some of her feathers have turned white. We have shifted gears into, oh shit, I have to keep all of these people together. Yeah. Yeah, we've got some work to do.
Mm-hmm.
She is very aware she just dodged a big old bullet, because that was not somebody she was ready to see.
Understandable. And Amelia. Seeing someone who you utterly despised, possibly as much or more than Gadrian himself? Hard to say, right?
More.
More, okay. Someone you thought was gone forever has returned. The same greasy smile. How's Annika doing right now?
There's two very different reactions going on between sisters. One is a mixture of extremely annoyed, but also a little bit pleased. And the other is just fucking tired. She's so tired. She's just really, really tired. I'll let you choose which is which.
Right. Gotcha. So, interesting reaction from Annika. She's actually a little pleased by seeing Rolf. Maybe a chance to get revenge?
Oh, she's going to be just chewing his ear the entire time. Just Annika's the tired one. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. She's tired of everyone's bullshit. Gotcha. Well then. Having some idea. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. How's Kitty doing? No.
Kitty is very important. Everyone needs to stop discounting them, okay?
Touching base with everyone's mindset, I'm going to throw the ball back into everyone's court. We're going to pick this up right about where we left off. You all have the specters that are following you, except of course for Rhea, who is holding ISO with Shala right now. We'll say at this time the rest of the NPCs have started coming out to investigate the noise. Vincarlo, Flack, Triana, especially. And the sun is starting to peek over the horizon, so it is starting to get light outside. You also do see, as the light starts to grow, not too far from you, two touched up and repainted wagons. Both a fairly large size. It looks like they could comfortably fit 6 to 8 people in them. They look like traveling wagons, and you can see from the windows to the sides, they're not just meant for riding in, but they are meant to act as like homes away from homes. There's food and provisions and things, bedrolls and the like inside of them. You wouldn't be able to sleep in them comfortably per se, but they fit not only all the travelers, but all the equipment you would need for a long journey, as well as 4 horses, 2 tied to each wagon. They're very sturdy and athletic horses. They seem to be fairly young and used to pulling their weight, whose names of which I will leave up to the party to decide. They are all 4 unique, so you feel free to give them what names you would like. Though I'm sure that's totally on the top of your priorities at the moment. As the... I'm sorry?
I think I can speak for everyone quite solidly that this is going to be the priority for the next 2 hours. We need to get these horses named.
Look,
guys.
we need to set aside any other role play. We need these horses named. I think it's going to take like 3 sessions, Squee.
Sorry, I've already done it.
If you substitute like Snickers for Sprinkle Jr., I'm totally on board.
Snickers isn't a thing in this world.
Something else besides Sprinkle Jr., sorry.
I'm willing to bend on Twix, but that's it. Sprinkle Junior stays.
Copyright strike is coming for us.
Ah, shit.
So,
Cookies.
I am going to throw this into the players' hands at the moment. The specters, all at the moment, seem to... they've already kind of said their hellos, and seem much more intent on watching the events that are going on right now. Last I remember, I believe Muri was near Robin, and was speaking with Nimara. Aras was speaking to her dad. Of course, Amelia and Annika were near Rolth. I'm throwing this back into the court of the players. What's your next steps right now?
So I will say this preemptively. For right now, Amelia really doesn't want to hear Rolf talk. So after this point, at least for the next hour or so, every time he starts to speak, she's going to prestidigitate the sound of the Charlie Brown wah 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 sound over him.
Gotcha.
Starts so good.
You do it the first time he starts to speak, and then you do it the second time, and then his eyes narrow, and as if there was a megaphone, his voice begins to boom over the entire area. Your childish
Miri
tricks
just
will
clicks
not.
her fingers and silence. He gets 3 words out, and Miri just snap, done.
And he goes silent.
She doesn't even look at him. Like, she's probably talking to Paula at this second.
And with that, Robin, as the silent spell around you and Namira drops, Namira goes, honestly, such childish tricks. They'll run themselves ragged casting spells like that.
Oh, the boy does not argue with her because he was thinking the same thing, which is the most horrible thought that he's ever had in his mind now as he stares at Namara wide-eyed like...
No. And she will walk towards Robin and crouch. Robin, really, you must stand up. It's unbecoming to grovel so in front of company.
Robin gets up, dusts himself off.
And she smiles. I have missed you.
He opens his mouth and closes it again. He's definitely, obviously trying to collect all of his thoughts into a little bag and hopefully drown them in a river.
She doesn't say anything after that. She seems to be studying Robin. her eyes searching his face for every wrinkle, every expression, every thought.
Can I roll a deception to try and hide all of
Absolutely
my
you can.
emotions?
Yes, of course you can. Mhm.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Well, it's Nymera.
There's some physical shaking going on.
Yeah.
He adjusts his footing a few times to make sure he has the proper stance. Looks back and forth to the crowd. And just gonna get himself a little bit away from everyone else and stand there waiting for travel. And he'll look down at her and he will say, I'm not ready to talk to you quite yet. Give me a little while. And then focus dead ahead.
I am not here to drive you insane, Robin, whatever the spellcaster's intention was.
It's not my sanity that I'm concerned about.
She considers that for a second and then looks at your friends. Ah. You're worried that I will tear you from them. I have done so in the past, we both know. That was different. I was making a point. You were a petulant child that needed to be reminded. And she stares up at you. I'm unsure yet if the same case is apparent here.
We have a number of complications that I am working through this group with, and after I'm done, I will be sure to go on my way if I cannot, obviously, and he smiles very kindly, find a way to get rid of you by then. If that's even possible.
She smiles. Roll me an insight check.
God, I'm real good at this one. This one's I'm really good at.
It's a smile. You could lose yourself in it if you let yourself.
He focuses straight ahead of him.
And she
She's
just
breathing.
takes a step next to you, turns to face the same way you are, and says, I'm sure that won't be necessary. And then reaches out a small spectral hand as if to grasp yours, and just holds it there.
Oh, he fake holds her hand.
Back over with the others. Rolth's eyes seem like coals, but he says nothing, understanding that it wouldn't mean much. How close is Aras? Is Aras within this bubble of silence?
What's the bubble size?
I think it's 10 feet. Hang on, I can find out. I got it right here.
10
It is
or 20?
20-foot radius sphere. So actually like 40-foot circle. It's pretty huge.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. So everyone's in the bubble of silence except for Robin and Nymera.
Ross will like reach into her backpack, or the bag of holding, and pull out earplugs and hold them up. I don't know if anybody would know what they are. Like point to the earplugs and point to your ear.
Amelia will take a set, but she won't put them in quite yet. And she will mouth thank you.
And as you take the earplugs, Rolth glides up and reaches out a hand, a spectral hand that passes through Amelia, and you hear resonate in your mind, honestly, child, such petty tricks.
She pauses and looks up at him and shrugs. We're still in the mansion, right?
No, you're
No.
outside.
Are we not? Oh, right. I'm a fool. She's going to point over to the I don't know, the green wagon, and she's gonna kind of gesture at everyone, just like, I'm going in there. She's gonna walk over and she's gonna get in. She's gonna start studying the runes that Robin gave her.
And the specter of Rolf seems to follow her. Aras, your father seems to try to speak a few times and seems very frustrated. It's very clear, Aras, and we're even to you as well. Paula and James Ulcer seem to be far less knowledgeable about what's going on than Nymera and Rolf, who, I'm surprised, happen to be necromancers. They seem less sure of what they can and cannot do, as James Ulcer seems to just be a little confused by the fact that he can't hear anything anymore. Paula obviously knows what a silent spell is, having been a cleric herself, but just kind of stands there patiently, unsure how to communicate or act in the center of a silent spell.
Ross will
Mary?
look at
go
Mary
ahead.
and Ross will look at Mary and see, like, do that cut it kind of motion.
You note that she's not looking at you. She's standing one hand on her hip and the other pinching the bridge of her beak.
Okay.
she
Ross will start
just
to.
needs a minute.
Ross will walk out of the zone of silence.
Gotcha. She
However
hasn't
far that would
even
take.
had her coffee yet. Okay. You eventually break out of the bubble of silence. And the second you do, when the sounds of the morning come back to you, your father looks around and says, "Oh, was that some sort of spell?"
Yes, it was for the loudmouth that went in the wagon. Not the girl, the guy.
Yes. He had a
Yeah.
nasty look to him.
I take it you've seen Pharasma.
All right, your DM's blanking. I'm sorry, what?
The deity
God of
in
death.
the afterlife.
Oh, yeah,
god.
okay. I'm so used to 5e deities that I just like, wait, what?
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could convert that to 5e.
No. It's perfectly fine. We're keeping it the way it is. I just wasn't expecting. He looks at you oddly and goes, "Who?"
You.
No.
When you died,
What about it?
well, maybe we had different experiences. Then,
He crosses his arms.
Sorry to hear you no longer walk this plane.
It was a choice I made a long time ago. I just didn't expect the Piper to come calling quite so soon.
Well, still sorry to hear it.
Are you?
I
I
mean,
wonder, how much do you know?
not much. Care to fill me in?
He looks around consideringly. Your mother, she had complications with her first child, our first child. And being an impulsive sort, made a deal to save their lives, which required the sacrifice of you. You weren't born yet, you weren't even intended. She thought it was quite the deal at the time. I warned her against it, but, well, she was headstrong. And then you were conceived. I didn't like the idea of giving an innocent over to the clutches of demons, so more deals were made. Deals which inevitably led me, and he spreads his arms wide, here.
So I have a sibling out there somewhere? Is it one that I would care to meet one day?
Oh. I don't know. Last I heard, he was making quite a name for himself out there in the Cinderlands, killing Shawanti, I believe.
Really?
Something about never forgiving his mother. See, the deals that she made had side effects. Nasty ones.
As one would expect, making deals with demons.
Yes, well... And he kind of spread his arms wide again. We are not mages. She did not know what she was getting into, and as I said before, she is headstrong. Your other brother, the one that you've never met, the one that you were sacrificed for, went mad. And he looks around again, and truth be told, I'm not sure you haven't followed suit.
Definitely seems like it some days. But, no. Can say I still possess all my mental faculties. Thank you for inquiring. So the name of this other brother, would you care to fill me in on who he is? Or
yes,
who
I would.
My mother is?
In just 1 second. As I look up notes. Hang on. Hang on. Do I not have? Interesting. Give me 1 moment. I might have to go look into another part.
Oh no.
What?
I think we've lost them.
Who?
Blue and Alora.
Oh no. He has a name. Just give me a second. I gotta find it.
That's okay.
Jorge.
Well, interesting. I'm having trouble locating it. I mean, I can find him. He just doesn't generally go by his real name. So
You can send it to me later.
Yeah, I'll do that. I will send it to you a bit later. Unfortunately, he has it.
We
I
shall-
have it, but he's generally doesn't go by his real name. So your
We
father
shall, in
would
the meantime,
Mhm.
refer to him as the middle child.
yes, the middle child. And he goes, "Your mother. What do you know of her?"
Nothing. I mean, William never told me anything.
No, he wouldn't. He wasn't fond of her. Your mother was an elf. Surely you understand that, given what you, and he hesitates, were.
I mean, yeah, yours were kind of a giveaway.
She was an adopted daughter of the Scone Qua. Born and raised, abandoned as a child.
Oh.
She was... I met her on a traveling expedition when I was young, became smitten, and she was gifted to me as a reward for a favor I did.
Tracks with what I know of this Gonqua.
He nods. She was different. Not familiar with Corvosan ways, she did not adapt well to society. And then your brother was born. Not William, of course. And it was her first child. There were complications during birth, and she was already in love with it, so she thought that sacrificing any other children to save this one was a fair price to pay. I obviously disagreed. And given the mess he's made of things, I was right.
And may I ask where she is now? I mean, she was never really spoken growing up. For the longest.
Once she realized that she had been tricked, the deal she had made with the demon granted her the life of her firstborn, but not his sanity. Once she realized the creature she held in her arms was a thing of evil, of twisted chaos, she could not take it. She blamed me, and she took her child back to the Scone Qua. I have not seen her since. There have been few letters exchanged. A few more from our son, who's quite proud of his work.
And you said he was making a name for himself, butchering
Yes,
other Shuanti?
I believe they call him the Cinderlander. I'm not sure how, but somehow he has come to blame his insanity upon the Shoanti themselves.
As soon as he said the Cinderlander, Uras's mouth just kind of hung open. It clearly the name resonates with her.
Oh, you've heard of him. Interesting. Has he made such a renowned name for himself?
I mean, thought he was just a myth.
I assure you, the letters I received from him prove quite the opposite. He is a ranger, from what I understand, and quite insane.
Yay.
So, to make a long story short, your mother went home and I never spoke with her again. You, however, I was forced to remain behind. That life was no life for you, and you already had to be kept hidden. I had already sacrificed far too much for you.
Can I ask what you sacrificed?
My very soul. There is a creature in your mind that hides you from the demons that seek you. Such things are not cheap. Such things are only traded in the currency of souls. If you must know, Arlen, I sold my soul to a demon to protect you from another. And when I am not so bound here, I spend my days in the infernal plane as a pathetic thing tortured. And he shrugs. It is not important.
Not sure what to say.
Thank you would be a good start. You never were good at showing gratitude.
Kinda hard to show gratitude when this is probably the longest conversation we've ever had.
For your own benefit, child.
I'm not. Thank you for sheltering me when I was younger.
And this, he turns around, is how you repay all that effort. Wandering around with commoners.
What would you rather I do?
He turns around. Make something of yourself.
And who says I haven't? Who, How long ago has it been since you were last in Corvosa?
Time is funny when you spend it as a sniveling demon in the abyss, so you'll forgive me if I'm not sure.
Did you hear about the plague?
He hesitates. No, I do not know of any plague.
Oh. Well.
The last... He hesitates as if trying to think. The last thing I remember is... yes. And he turns and he looks... Oh. And there goes my music. He turns and he looks at Aras more closely. You were at a banquet. I remember.
Yes, it was.
I did not know that was you.
This, group of commoners, and ever since we've only grown in, well, favor with the city guard, at least. And the hearts and minds of a fair number of the city as well.
He seems as if he's struggling to recall, to remember. And he says, that banquet, that night. I remember being called to the city hall by a judge. I do not remember her name. It was odd because, and he struggles remembering, she had been killed. I had been chosen as her replacement. Yes, I was to replace her. And I went to... I was deceived. I went into the city hall at summons from someone I thought dead and was ambushed and murdered. It was the night of that banquet.
Seems you've been gone for longer than I thought. I'm sorry. Curious, though. Where do you think I've been for the 5-6 years? Do you even care?
He stares at you, impassively. I had assumed that you had run off to Chiliax or somewhere else to try and make your way there. You had gotten no love from me, and your brother was dead. I had assumed, hoped, that you had started a life somewhere else.
Well, you're not wrong. I did start over. Funnily enough, with the Shanti.
His eyes
Yeah.
widen. Of course. As ever, I am cursed with them. The world would be a better place if they had been wiped off the map 100 years ago.
Perhaps. And I'm sorry you feel that way. You're really gonna hate this. That's where we're going now.
He raises an eyebrow.
They were kind enough to keep me safe, shelter me. I hope you, will at least stay your tongue out of respect.
Or what? Or
no,
what?
or what? This is not an ultimatum. I'm simply making a request that...
Oh. Arlen, have you learned nothing from me? You're an ostler. You don't make requests. You stand up straight. You stare me in the eyes and you tell me to shut up. Act like the noble you are meant to be.
Sorry. I don't want to be like you. If I'm going to be a noble, I'm not the kind to look down on those around me. simply because they had a different circumstance of birth.
He shakes his head. Well,
That's something I learned growing up in the kitchens, where you put me. Perhaps if you wanted me to have such a noble highbrow and see myself above others, maybe you should have, I don't know,
what?
put me up in the attic.
Paraded you around town, given you the
Yeah.
honors you were due, and have the demons come take you? Would you have preferred
No.
that?
I didn't say that at all. I simply meant, don't leave me with the same people you have such disdain for.
Disdain. I do
I
not
mean-
disdain commoners. They are necessary. They are strong. But they need to be led.
There's always more than one way to lead a people.
Yes. And most of them are wrong. But you'll learn eventually.
I hope I don't.
He shrugs. Well, then it's going to be a long, hard road for you, Arlen. I don't know why I was dragged back here. From what I heard from the others, apparently I tormented you in life. If you truly feel that way, then that was not my intent.
I know. I don't. I mean, no matter what happened, you didn't kick me out. You could have taken me to some city and just dumped me off.
He points a finger at you. Do not mistake me, Arlen. You were not some apple of my eye. You were not my daughter dearest, but you were just a child. No child deserves a fate like that.
I appreciate that. No matter... We may have a lot of difference of opinions, and I was very angry for a while. Funny thing about being in this new body kinda gives me a bit of perspective.
A shorter one, I'm sure. He actually, half grins. I always did
I just
like
have a
dwarves.
I just have a lower center of gravity, a bit more stable, and definitely more hardy.
Well, if I am stuck to this spell, if I am to be bound to you for the time being, then perhaps this is a blessing in disguise, and I will have an opportunity to show you how to be an Osler. But if instead madness is truly what you seek, simply go find your mother. I'm sure she has plenty to spare.
She probably does. And we'll probably see her before this journey's over. Right now, I think I need to go see another family member about something. And Ross will look to see where he is.
Well, Weary, what have you been doing this past 15 minutes or so? Silence has dropped by now.
Oh, yeah. So, she waited patiently until silence dropped, just collecting herself. and then stood up straight and went to go talk to their hosts. Thanked them all very graciously.
Paula by your side. Thank you for looking out for everyone.
We'll introduce Paula to the rest of the NPCs. Gives Jason a rather weighty bag of gold, and if he tries to give it back to her, she just fixes him with a look.
He would try exactly that until his wife takes it. How much gold?
500.
Oh, jeez. Good lord. All right. She definitely will take that.
And she will specify, this is not just for the wagons and the horses and dinner. This is for the friendship that these people have offered a part of her family, and for what they have put on the line to harbor Triana and Ilda, and what they are giving us of their probably not overflowing coffers to see this finished.
Jason's wife will actually take out half the gold and say, we'll take the money for the carts and the horses and the food with grace and with pleasure. But we don't charge for friendship, Miri. And she will hand that part back to you.
She'll accept that they have to. Let me take that off my sheet.
Which, I mean, 250 gold is still a lot of money for a cart and a couple of horses. It's still a lot of money, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, they're farmers. She doesn't want them to have to...
No, I mean, like that's still... She's keeping 250 gold. That's still a good payday,
yeah, that's
right?
fine. That's fine.
Yeah. That's still a good payday for farmers. But,
yeah, not bad.
But
she
would feel insulted if she got paid for friendship and hospitality.
Gotcha. And Mary's eyes will crinkle at the corners, and she will just bow deeply to these people.
And Jason will bow in return. And he'll say, well, the sun is up. I guess you better get moving.
Mary nods. I intend to do just that. Anybody else coming with us that I should know about? Any stowaways?
And you hear, Flack coming! As Flack and Toby walking past you. He's like fully decked out in the ill-fitting knight's armor that doesn't really match. The helmet that doesn't really fit. But he and Toby seem ready to go.
Wouldn't dream of leaving you behind. And she will go start collecting people, sort of herding everybody into the carts and double-checking everything. Quick question. Mm-hmm. Who here knows how to drive a cart?
Good questions.
Ooh, do I know?
I know Triana knows.
I don't know if I have land vehicles as a...
I don't think any of you have land vehicles, actually.
Can we say that...
Rhea might, actually.
Yeah. I have land portlies. That's it.
Yeah, that's no. So I know Triana does. I know Vincarlo does. So if you need the two NPCs can drive.
Okay. I mean, Mary's also spent a considerable amount of life traveling.
Hang on, let me just check ISO's. No,
yeah.
No, ISO does not have land vehicles. Weary, do you have it?
I don't. Not that's on this sheet, I don't think.
No, then you don't. You've been on carts, but you've never driven them. Same for you, Arlen. You've been on carts, but you've never driven them, unless your sheet actually has land vehicle proficiency.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it kind of fits for your background, because, like, he would let you drive.
Okay, yeah, the NPCs are driving. This will be fun.
So, Triana, would start getting on the green one. And there's space for someone else to ride next to them. So the way the wagons work is you can comfortably fit 6 people inside each of them. I mean comfortably, like, they can ride in comfort, more or less. Inside. 2 can drive, or, you can have a driver and a shotgunner. The wagons are also wide enough that you could have someone sitting on top if they so chose. So plenty of room for everyone, especially since I believe Rhea and Flack at the very least will be riding, not in the carts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me go ahead and reshare the map. However...
Oh, and please let me know when Majinko gets back.
Yes, don't worry. I have not forgotten. However, very important thing to note. First, Amelia, let me say that as you get into the cart, as you begin doing your thing, Rolf follows behind you, but has been strangely silent. And if you look at him, he seems very contemplative. But as Muri, you're starting to do this, Aras, you finished up the conversation and started heading back. Robin, you've basically, I assume, just been standing there the whole time trying not to talk and sort through your ideas?
Yep, trying to be very presentable and not suspicious in the slightest with his 3.
Gotcha. One thing I should note before I get into the next part. Nymeria is silent the whole time, except for one moment when she looks at you and says, "Who's the little one? She seems oddly familiar."
Oh boy. She is, and points to Shala, her little sister.
Interesting. I can't quite put my finger... Oh. And she looks to Robin. You haven't noticed, have you?
There's a lot of things I'm trying not to notice right now. And he'll turn his attention.
Oh, Robin, dear, you should look harder. And she just smiles.
We both know thinking isn't my strong suit.
Oh, you say that. And maybe once I thought that. But you've more than proved yourself devious. No, Robin, you really should look harder. And then that's it. She just smiles at you sweetly. And then goes back to staring at Iso and Shala and Rhea. And at some point, shortly after the conversation ends with your father, Ross, and Muri while you're walking around, all of you start to notice the features of your haunts start dissipating. And very slowly, quietly, they turn back into the misty form that you first saw. The shapeless form. They, Robin, Nymera's form floats back into the air and moves 3 feet away instead of right next to you.
Important question.
Mm-hmm.
As a revenant, I'm able to feel her soul.
Mm-hmm.
Can I feel her?
No.
Have I been able to feel her this time at all?
You have, while she was there, yes. You cannot at the moment.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
But the misty
this
form...
includes Paula, yes?
Yes, includes Paula, but the misty form
no.
is still there. Featureless, shapelessness.
Does she take her hand out of Robin's?
Oh, yeah. She drifted back 3 feet away.
Cool.
Same for you, Amelia. Just back into the shapeless, mistless form. Well, it has some shape. You can tell it's that of a man, right? Mm-hmm. But no features.
Okay. Interesting.
Mary just freezes and stares at it for a long time. How long does it stay like this?
It seems to stay that way. Go ahead, whoever would like to. Roll me another Arcana check.
I would like to roll an Arcana.
Mm-hmm. Wow!
Thank you, Amelia.
Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. All right.
So I had
mhm.
I had to step back for a second. What happened? Why are we rolling Arcana check?
All the haunts turned. Well, first things first, you missed. Nymera seems to think Iso looks familiar.
Oh, I caught that bit. I was
Gotcha.
here for that.
All the haunts turned back into their featureless, mist-like form.
Oh, that's interesting. Can I roll?
Yeah, by all means.
We now have 2 natural 20s
That's
on
fitting.
the floor.
You do. So Amelia, Aras, and Wiri. Now that this spell has kind of been discussed and talked about, right? And you're considering what's going on. This is a curse, a spell that has been cast upon you by Eli, one of the Valentines. And while you're not familiar with the specifics of it, it seems very clear that such a spell requires concentration, and that there is probably a limited amount of time per day that the haunts can actually take form. They are connected to you, they are bound to you, but there is probably a time duration that they can actually be present. And what you're staring at now is a link, is an anchor. Excuse me. Something that anchors the soul to you, and that is something that you will have to deal with on a daily basis, but the soul itself, your father, Nymera, Rolth, and Paula, are not here right now. Only their anchor.
About how much time has passed since they appeared?
It's probably been no more than 30 minutes. However, because 2 of you rolled extremely well, that's probably not representative, simply because you have no idea how long it took for them to form in the first place, for that anchor to manifest.
Okay.
So, Ross knows her dad's probably back in.
Back in hell.
Having fun!
Yeah. Oh well. Not her fault.
I mean, apparently he would argue, but you know.
I mean, she was not even born at the time, so I mean,
Very fair.
consequences suck.
Robin, with your role, just to be clear, you're not sure exactly what's going on, but you are quite sure that you cannot sense Numera right now.
Good enough.
Oh. Like, as soon as that happens, like, Annika would probably, like, bring Amelia's attention to it, and it clicks into place. And Amelia immediately, like, hops up out of the cart to take a look at all the other haunts. And she would essentially let everyone know, you know, this is a spell that requires concentration. We shouldn't expect it to be this short next time, but for right now, they are there but not. The anchor is there, but they are not.
Correct. So, just to let you guys know, mechanically speaking, so that you as players understand, I have a dice that I will roll every day, and this will determine at what point in time of the day they come to visit you.
Okay.
And for how long. So, could be while you're trying to sleep, could be during important negotiations, I don't know, it's gonna be fun, we'll see.
Oh, great. So Amelia's going to essentially go, and I'm going to take this moment of quiet to explain this to my mother. She's gonna go find Hilda.
Hang on.
Robin. Weary comes over to stand by you. She doesn't say anything. She's just standing next to you.
Passes her a half glance and then goes back to staring ahead.
Just real quick before I close these notes out, I just found this amusing. So I have notes on the Hans for the party, just little reminders for myself, and I have little messages of who each one of them is until you get to Rolf, and all it says, because these are just for me, for my memory, and all it says, I wrote this apparently over a month ago. Really? You don't know who this fuckface is? And that's it. That's all that's written there. Which,
Perfect
well
summary.
played, myself.
Robin, eventually you feel her hand gently on your shoulder.
He glances over, wondering if Miria's just slowly getting closer to him for a reason.
She's trying not to startle you.
He's staring, waiting for a response, wondering why you're getting closer.
Gotcha. She'll look to him and back to the cards. Will you come with us?
I'm coming with you. He looks really nervous and points to the cards and says, I'm supposed to deal with Amelia's mom today. Do you have a preference on where I... And motions from the purple to the green one.
I found it quite odd that your... And she gestures to the misty figure. Aunt seemed to be under the impression that I owned you.
He also pinches the bridge of his nose.
A lot of that going around.
I am a thing that transfers through ownership. The whole motions hand in air. Phylactery thing is not the first time, and it is a tendency that works well with who I am as a person. Don't take it personally.
I won't. Thank you for explaining that to me.
Slow nod.
Do what will make you happy, Robin.
I think figuring what that is going to take a little bit right now. He will glance down at his haunt and lean down to Miri and say, we should keep her out of as much magic as we possibly can. And she recognizes Iso. We might want to keep her away from her as well.
I understand, and I think we can try and do that. And she looks over her shoulder at Rhea holding Iso.
Who you notice is actually braiding Rhea's hair quietly.
Oh,
Like, didn't ask, didn't say anything, just started quietly doing it.
She will miss you if you withdraw from her.
He tilts his head left to right. She'll miss the drow company, but I'm still in sight. It'll be fine. It's good she attaches herself under Rhea.
You watch Moira give you a very appraising look. If that is what you wish.
Nods.
And
Ha! It's fine.
Oh, hold on. Now I gotta break out the insight.
Fight me, Mary. Fight me.
Robin, you fool!
Ah!
Oh, going under.
Iso will be fine. It's good that she's with Rhea. It's totally cool.
Mhm.
Definitely
He's
not.
definitely
looking-
content with this.
I didn't need to spend time with Drow or children or anything. It's cool.
Way to sell it there, Wings.
Mhm. She turns to walk away and then pauses and turns back to you. I hope you don't think it a shortcoming that you must search for your own happiness. I find it is among the noblest pursuits of anyone with a soul.
He's gonna keep his mouth shut. Just like squint slightly harder at the bird.
She waves a hand. Something to think on, I suppose. And we'll wander away to Shala.
He mutters almost loudly. Stupid owl card.
Zellara hears this. No. Zellara takes shape. Excuse me? No. Shala is currently talking to Iso. Iso, Rhea and I are gonna watch you for a while. Rhea is very, very special to me, and she saved my life. And Iso, who's braiding Rhea's hair, looks at Rhea, and like her eyes widen.
I don't know how to take that.
And we'll say that's like when Weary walks up.
Mm-hmm. She will greet all of you and gently take Shala's hand. Have you had time to think on my offer?
I have. And I know that, well, a lot of things have happened very quickly, but my mind hasn't changed.
Very well. I will see if your sister is of the same mind. And I suppose we can get started. We are almost ready to go, I believe. I think the only things missing from the carts is,
Wait,
and she gestures to the group outside of the carts.
Murray,
Yes.
is there any chance I could... I don't want Iso to be a Valentine either.
Mary's eyes soften.
I know you don't know her that well, and she doesn't know you, but... Well... I don't want her to be a Valentine.
I understand that. She is... And she glances over to Isolanda. She is welcome. In my name, in my family, in my heart. But she is also old enough to make that decision for herself. Why don't you ask her?
Shala nods. And she'll turn to Isolanda, and who's still braiding Rhea's hair, staring at her wide-eyed. Like, not even looking at the braid, yet her quick, nimble fingers are still... and we're talking French braid here. Like, this is really well done, Rhea.
Can I make some sort of insight to see what the hell is going on?
Absolutely.
Rhea, please.
She's not the easiest to read, but she seems content in her work, comfortable.
I meant more the wide eyes thing. That's
Hmm.
fine.
Oh, that one's not hard to read at all. She's amazed that someone saved Shala's life.
Oh.
Like in the same kind of, she's a child. That childlike wonder of like, you saved her life kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Shala comes up and she goes, Iso, Miri is, how to explain? She's been taking care of me for a while now, and has invited me to join her family instead of our family, the Valentines. I've chosen to become part of hers because she's lovely and wonderful. And, she's made the offer to you as well. You don't have to be a Valentine anymore. And Iso looks at Shala. I don't want to go home. And Shala shakes her head. No, you're never going back there. Ever. But that won't be your home anymore, Iso. We would be your home. But you have to make the decision. And Iso looks from you to Muri. Muri,
Yeah.
roll me a persuasion check. It's kind of more of a subtle thing. You're not like actively trying to convince, but it's Muri. You're trying to be reassuring, and you know what I mean, like with your posture,
I also
your
have a
motherly.
+0, Squeak.
I understand. You do it with advantage, though, as Shala is helping you.
Oh, do I? Oh, okay.
Actually, no, wait. Why am I doing... This should be Shala. She's the one. Yeah. I will give her advantage on this.
Please do. Please, God. Let the bard do it.
I don't know. It's only a +9. Are you sure you wouldn't want to roll this?
Yes.
She looks back and forth between you two. And then, surprisingly, looks at Rhea. Are you a family too?
Oh. Rio would just look at her for a moment, and then look up between Weary and Shala.
Shala's just smiling at you.
I guess, in a way.
Mary from the back pipes up, her black eyes twinkling. Oh, my dear, she already is.
She nods. And you don't, I mean, both of you know she doesn't talk very much. And she goes, okay. But take Robin too. He looks so alone. His eyes.
Well, I believe my family is going to get quite a bit bigger today. Why don't you ask him, Isolanda? I think if it's you, he'll say yes.
She looks to Shala and Rhea like for confirmation.
Rhea just looks to Shala. This isn't her sister.
Shala's looking at Rhea like, and then she kind of shrugs and she says, well, you'd have to ask Robin. I mean, and then she kind of looks helplessly back and forth. Why don't we go ask him together? And she like puts an arm around Rhea and like starts directing Rhea, like pushing Rhea, like, you go talk to Robin.
Robin's over there. Why are these girls approaching me? This is not a good time.
So
She's not back yet, but she could come back anytime. Stand in front of Shadow. Stand in front of Shadow.
You see Shala and Rhea with holding Isolando, who is finished braiding Rhea's hair and is now just kind of has her arms around Rhea's neck, approaching you with Muri.
Aras, Miri is trailing behind them. You watch this whole procession go by as she is laughing quietly to herself.
Yep.
They come up to you, Robin.
Yeah, he glances down and then looks over at the haunting. You should all probably be keeping a little bit of distance.
And Rhea Iso would make a motion like she wants to be put down.
She would let her down, yeah.
And she will stand in front of Robin and put her hands at her waist and bow deeply. Mr. Robin, Shala says that Muri is inviting me to be a part of her family so that I am not a Valentine anymore. Would you come with me and also be part of the family?
Oh boy. Takes one last glance at the haunt, kneels down. I'm part of a very large house, actually, myself. Kind of tilts his head to see how much she wants this.
She walks up to you and, like before, begins, like, feeling your face. Robin, roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Oh, Robin.
All right. This is my life. I'm sorry.
Oh, Robin. And she goes, I know you.
Nervous glancing at Shala, kind of pats her hands and holds. You don't really know me. I don't think you do.
I do. I know you.
Glances back at the haunt to see if it's moved.
I'd like Muri and Rhea to make perception checks. Haunt has not moved, Robin.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Uh-huh.
13.
Uh-huh. Gotcha. I'll just continue. And Muri can roll when she gets a moment. When she gets back. She looks a little upset at you, Robin, and she goes, I don't... Okay, sorry. Muri, can you roll me a perception check, please?
Yes, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Perception.
Oh, guys.
I have inspiration.
Oh. Okay.
Forever mystery.
Woo!
Oh. Muri,
I no longer have inspiration. What did I?
you're looking at them so close together. You've not seen the two of them this close, and it dawns on you, strikes you. Iso looks a lot like Robin. Very young, very childlike, but the features look very similar.
Gotcha.
Not exactly the same, but definitely a resemblance.
They're related, is what you're saying.
It could be, possibly. Or at the very least, from the same stock or same, yes, very similar.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. So whoever is standing next to Mary watches her look back and forth between the two of them. And then very quietly to herself, take a deep breath.
And Iso looks at Robin and says, "So you don't want to be my brother?"
I didn't say that. I just said I...
It's okay. And she looks down. I'm sorry I asked.
Oh, man. He would kiss his tongue and lift her chin back up and hold her head level with his and say, "Don't get rid of eye contact with me. That is not all right." Like, almost offended that she did that.
Uh-huh. She looks up into your eyes a little surprised.
Stands back up, glances at the haunt, makes sure it's still faceless, and if so, will offer Iso his hand and motion and be like, "Lead the way."
Her face brightens, and she takes Robin's hand, and she takes Ria's hand, and she starts leading both of you to Muri.
Welcome to the family, y'all.
And
Robin's thinking this is gonna be awkward if Vishal and Ria ever breaks up.
Damn!
she will
Like, I'm okay with it, but it's gonna be real awkward.
She stands in front of Muri and then puts her lets go of both hands, puts her hands at her waist and bows in front of Muri and says, "I would be honored, Muri, to be a member of your family."
And Mary crouches and puts her hands on Isolanda's shoulders. Does it make you feel better to bow?
She kind of looks confused. One bows when showing respect. One must always show respect. And it sounds almost like intoning or saying something that has been recited.
Mm-hmm. There are many things more important than respect.
She looks at Muri. "If it offends you, I am sorry. I will stop."
No, child.
Oh, then.
And she will gently pull Isolanda into a hug.
And whatever she was about to say gets cut off, and at a moment she looks in like shocked terror at Shala and Ria, and then after a second you see her kind of give in to the embrace and then just kind of bury her face in Muri's feathers. Like, she is obviously not used to this.
And Mori will pick her up.
Then, Mary,
Yes, dear.
until the Night Mother takes me, I would love to be a part of your family.
And for as long as the sun touches the sky, you shall be.
Oh, Rhea, you see Shala's face just blanch when Iso says that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's got a note of that for later.
Even Weary's tone is a little sharp. um, um, just with regard to, tough titties, kiddo. You're gonna be part of my family as
Right.
long as Sarah and Ray's around.
And then, okay, so what's step 2?
Everybody in the wagons. We gotta get going.
All right.
No ceremony.
There's gonna be a ceremony, but it takes an hour to cast, and I'm not sitting here
Right.
for an hour. We're
Okay.
ready to
Time to
go.
go.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like Vencarlo and Triana have just been sitting up there, so, go in, or... So, I would like, for no reason whatsoever, for you all to determine a traveling order. Who's traveling? Where? What? Why? How? Obviously, Triana and Vencarlo are driving. Someone is welcome to sit up there with them if they'd like, or you can sit in the wagons. No more than 6 people per wagon, and that includes drivers. Flack will be riding Toby alongside. Rhea, I assume you'll be riding Portly alongside?
Mm-hmm.
Will you be offering, will Iso be riding with you or with Shala in a cart?
Yeah, she'll offer for both Shala and Iso to ride with her.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, they have to be close enough that Weary can cast her ceremony. So, all of the people who are joining Weary's family should probably be within touching distance of her.
I see. Well, what we'll do is I'm more looking for a traveling order that will be the main traveling order on your trip to the Cinderlands.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
So that we have an idea of who's where at most times.
So
Mhm.
we kind of have been discussing this a little bit amongst ourselves. We wanted to make one wagon the work wagon and the other wagon the family wagon.
Okay.
And so I guess the question that I'd have is, Amelia, are you in the work wagon or the family wagon at this point?
Do we want to make the green wagon the work wagon? Because we
Yes.
can do that. For some fucking reason, my brain was just like, yes, green, like the Hulk, who is Bruce Banner.
The reason
That's
she
what-
chose it.
Love the reasoning.
Laura, forgive my forgetfulness. Do we have a token for Ilda yet?
No, I'm
Gotcha.
I'm actually working on
That
that.
is
right
fine.
now.
For the time being... No, that's perfect. I knew you were. For the time being, Lady Celine will be stepping in the role of Ilda.
As the royalty she was always meant to be.
Because I forgot that she was not there, and she is coming with you. Rhea,
So
I will let you know that for periods of the day, Iso can certainly ride with you on Portly, but it would be very uncomfortable for her to spend an entire day as the third person on a mount that she's not used to, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she's not going to force her to stay on there. If she wants to go in the wagons or something, she's more than allowed to.
Gotcha. So why don't we do 2? There's sometimes she'll be on Portly, and then other times she will be point B, right?
Mm-hmm.
So green is work wagon, purple is family wagon. Keep in mind, only 6 people per wagon at once, unless you're packing people in. So Triana will... No, we'll change these around, though, because Vencarlo would be relegated to the work wagon by Triana. Because Triana considers herself more of a people person, and she will tell him that.
That's very polite code for you're a grouchy bastard. Go
Yep.
away.
Though, I'm not going to make you guys roll insight on this. A lot of you, those of you who are perceptive, can pick up that Triana is very fond of Vincarlo, and Vincarlo treats Triana like a daughter almost. You know what I mean? Like, there's obviously a relationship there. So who is where, what, why, how? Flack, obviously, and Rhea are riding escort. We'll just put you guys like right here somewhere, right? Because I imagine you'd be riding back and forth between the two carts.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the work wagon, it would seem. Gotcha.
I mean, how do we have to be within
Ilda would probably be in the
touching
family wagon, actually.
distance?
Touching. Oh, no. This is for the trip
This
to
is
the Cinderlands.
regular.
This is not.
Okay.
Don't count the ceremony.
Got it. Just making sure.
Yeah, Ilda would probably be in the family wagon and will be spending a lot of
Yeah.
her time researching or picking
Yeah.
Robin's brain.
I mean, Robin's going to be in the work wagon?
Is he?
Amelia's family's fighting over me.
Gotcha. Well, Ilda would be in the family wagon, not the work wagon, so...
Mhm.
Unless if we were discussing magic, to which Ilda would have to sit in the work wagon.
Oh, okay, well...
Yeah,
Ilda,
Mom.
we cannot discuss this here. This is the family wagon. If you want to talk magic, we need to go over to the work wagon.
Please step into my office.
The idea was not to destroy.
This is the family room. This is the study. God, Mom. I realize that we've been in a one-room shack for most of our lives, but get it together.
Brilliant. Iso will be either with Rhea... so Iso and Shala will either be with Rhea and Portly or in the family wagon. And what we'll say, Rhea's will say half the day they'll ride with you, and half the day. And it'll probably be kind of intermittent, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you, Iso much prefers Fluffy Portly to Bumpy Wagon. It's just when you're not used to riding things.
And
Kitty
Kitty
will
would
just
also be.
wherever Aras is.
Oh, actually, she's going to
Oh.
be out doing like patrol.
Oh,
kind
okay.
Of swapping with
Gotcha.
Rhea and Flack, so they can
Nice.
roam around.
So 3 patrols. Gotcha.
Robin's gonna approach Ross and be like, "Can I get our joint custody rug out of that?"
Oh, sure. Right,
Joint
custody
custody
rug. Be like, is there enough space in here? I'm sorry, Elda. Please don't let me hit you in the face with this.
Yeah, they're gonna slowly get the rug out and kind of fold it up, and then Robin's gonna take it over and let Iso sit on it when she's not riding on Portly. You said it was a very, very good quality rug, so this fucking thing better be soft.
It's very soft. It's like it's not quite a shag rug, but it's very it has good depth to it.
Sweet. He's like,
Smells
I'm
like
gonna cut. He's like, I'm gonna go use this for Iso. We can put it back when she's done.
I'll also say that over the course of the first few days, Shala and Iso work to make the family wagon incredibly comfortable and homey. Like they do as much decorating as can possibly be done. Actually, give me a second
Oh,
here.
same. Absolutely. They have Miri's help 100%.
I will do this with advantage. Give me a second here. I think this would simply be a performance check. Yeah. The 3 of you managed to, and I know we're jumping ahead a little bit here, but you managed to make it look very lovely inside there. And Iso seems to enjoy helping.
I imagine Miri, who is at this moment studying up on her herbs to get that tasty proficiency, has started to braid like garlands of flowers and just kind of throw them all over the wagon.
So, you guys all mount up and you begin your journey with your horses, which I'm unsure if you've named or not. And the first hour or so of the journey, you don't have to move your tokens or anything. We'll just say that the ceremony takes place in the cart. Miri, would you like to describe the ceremony?
Sure. It's about an hour of Mary praying quietly to herself. And towards the end, she will remove from her pouch powdered silver and hold it in her hands. And toss it up in the air. And it falls kind of all around, coating all of you in this glitter. It looks almost like stars. And from her breast, she will pluck 4 feathers. And to each of you, she will go, and she will take a strand of your hair and braid the feather into it. And she will ask you each the same question. I invite you to be of my name, of my home, and of my family, for you are already of my heart. Do you accept?
So, we'll just go around. Shala almost immediately says, yes. Iso, when you get to her, would look at Shala, and then Robin, and then Ria, and then to Miri and go, yes. And then I think next would be a Ross.
You would probably have been looking around and like, oh yes, definitely.
And then you get to Robin.
Only sad.
Oh.
No, I was going to say, only sad my father wasn't here to watch it.
Mary will cluck her tongue as if disapproving, but you can tell she's trying not to laugh.
And then gets to Robin.
Robin almost answers and then pauses and glances over to Ross and says, "This is a bit further than a handshake." And waits to see her reaction. Does she hate me?
She'll hold out, or Ross will hold out her hand and say, brother?
Yes. And he'll shake her hand and smile.
And as each of them says yes, the silver that has dusted them turns to gold, and it glows like sunlight, and it sinks into their skin and their hair wherever it's falling. And for just a moment, it's like you can feel Muri's soul right next to yours. And you can feel the sheer depth of her love, and her pride, and her joy. And you can feel it wrap around you like sunlight. And the glow fades, but the feeling lingers. And there are tiny golden flecks wherever the gold has touched you, and that will linger for 24 hours. Give you a D4 added to any ability check.
So, is that it to the ceremony?
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect.
Very
I just wanted to be sure before I moved on, and then I was like, "But no, we're not done."
Yeah, she will inform you all that her name is yours to take. You can change your last name to Corvosa if you want, though it is not strictly necessary, and she will look over at Robin.
He shrugs. I can add another one in there somewhere, I'm sure.
And Shala kneels down. Isolanda corvosa. That sounds very pretty. And Iso nods. I will point out that all of you feel ceremony's not exactly what you'd call a powerful spell, right? But it is magic all the same. And you do feel as if magic was involved in this, as if there is now some form of bond or connection between all of you. It's weak. Certainly it's not like you can sense where they are anywhere. No, it's nothing like that. But you do feel like there was magic here that formed some kind of bond. For those of you who are more magically inclined, Murray, Robin, or Ross, basically you would know that by using ceremony and cast in this way, you, for the intents and purposes of the universe at large, could be considered part of Murray's family. For example, and this is an odd example, if someone were to reach out and curse Murray's family members, you might be included in that. Or, bless her family members, same thing. So it's basically the connection that would be that of family members. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
For better or ill. And as the ceremony completes, you all kind of slow. We'll say like you slow to a stop and switch places. Isolanda and Shala start riding on Portly. And everyone kind of moves to where they need to go. Robin, Ilda will be wanting to requisition you.
I think you mean inquisition me?
Yes, that as well.
Mm-hmm.
She signs the appropriate forms to check Robin out for a few hours. And
Yeah.
And then Robin, you begin telling her about, like, I'm curious, do you start with like Necromancy 101? Do you focus more on things that pertain to Amelia and Annika?
I feel like, oh man, unfortunately I feel like he would want someone to understand the basics before he moved on to the actual meat of the problem, so to speak.
Right. Makes
so
sense.
He'd probably do a necromancy for dummies as quickly as possible.
Understood.
And then give her a short quiz at the end before he moved on to Amelia. And he'd probably even take it so far to be like, well, you need to look inside here at this part, like cut himself open and like pull his arm open a little and show her a part and talk about it. Like he's very hands-on and non-restrictive with the lack of pain sensation. And I'll take damage, it's fine.
Gotcha.
As long as I get a good explanation of generals and what it pertains to her.
She seems a little put off by the display, obviously, but her eagerness to learn seems to outweigh her uncomfort with your teaching methods. But you teach her Necromancy 101. Necromancers are just parents who raised their family a little late.
Yeah. And I'm also going over it with Amelia as well as I do it, just in case there's anything she didn't know that she was missing.
Gotcha.
Because she's a sorcerer. She has no fucking idea what she knows.
So you guys spend the first half of the day traveling from Heresy towards the Cinderlands. Question. Is the group making a stop at the Fernwall Mountains, or are they continuing on?
Stop, please.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Amelia's
little louder,
fine
please.
with stopping, but she's going to stay in the cart just in case.
Miri, you would know that Kirani's orphanage is in a small village called Basilweef. which is at the foot of the Finwall Mountains. It's actually kind of more up in the mountains than at the foot of them, but when you look at the map, it's basically at the foot. It's called Basal Leaf. Hang on, let me type it. Base. And it's not too far out of the way. You know, instead of going straight north, you go kind of northwest-ish. Might add like a day to the journey at most.
Okay.
But it would still take a few days to get there. So you guys start heading that direction. About halfway through the day, Iso starts kind of fidgeting on top of Portly. So Rhea, Shala would take Iso into the cart. However, Rhea, Shala is constantly leaning out the window and calling you over and like brushing dirt out of your hair, or basically just coming up with excuses to have Rhea come by the side of the cart. Flack, you find, spends a lot of time next to Portly and Rhea, and has an unsettling habit of Toby darting around and under Portly. And he takes his patrolling very seriously. He'll patrol circuits around the wagons and then spend time standing next to Portly and like dart underneath Portly and then dart underneath the wagons as Toby is quite nimble, as rats tend to be. He Flack, every time he passes Kitty, he will like form of high five. He'll like bang his scimitar on her head like a bump, like as he passes, as he thinks that Metal Kitty is good Kitty.
Kitty will, enthusiastically do a little hop.
Nice. And the better part of the first day goes by like this. You all obviously stick to the roads, as these carts would not last long on the countryside. And especially as you leave Hars and start making your way up, you start getting into very rocky terrain, where they're not mountains, but there are a lot of mesas and canyons. And the road you're on definitely winds its way through several sheer kind of 30-40 foot cliff faces. Yes, Robin.
Robin pities the drivers. After a bit of teaching, once I can get Amelia and her mother talking to each other, I'd like to knock on the top and get out and join Vencarlo first.
Gotcha.
And then Triana second. I feel really bad for them just sitting out there driving alone. Kind of study what he's doing and hang out with him a little bit so he's not just bored falling asleep while he's driving.
Gotcha. I think you would spend... Vencarlo is kind of caught up on what's been going on, right? So he would spend a good deal of time trying to distract and deflect and argue over who really won that fight. But it's very good-natured. But he seems to be enjoying himself. He looks much better. He looks mostly fully recovered. He's wearing just simple leather armor. His rapier's at his hip. His gloves are, on his hands, and he's looking far improved from when you found him in the labyrinth.
Oh, good.
And then you would make your way to Triana. So this is a person you haven't spent much time with.
I just hop up.
Yeah. And Triana is focusing on the horses, and she notices you hop up, and she goes, So, Robin, was it?
Not.
Is that your full name? Is that short for Robin Hood or something?
No. That was a nickname given to me by the girl who couldn't pronounce my name. Robothrices famed Sabar, which I guess has now become Robothrices Corvosa famed Sabar, second son. Offers hand.
Robothrices Corvosa famed Sabar, second son. She
Almost.
offers her hand, and she goes, Triana,
Yes, I've seen you. I know you. It's nice to finally talk to you, Triana.
Yes, I heard that you had some part to play in my rescue.
Shrugs with left shoulder. I was only a decoy, really. Nothing important. Really, Van Carlo did everything.
Nothing important, says the man who played decoy to the city guards while Van Carlo escaped with the most wanted character in the city. You certainly are humble or simply unaware of what you were a part of.
Shakes his head. I'm good at running from things, I guess.
She nods. I see. Is my sister one of them?
No, I'm not running from your sister. Oh, you think. Oh, you're. Take after your mother, too. Kind of rubs the back of his.
And you notice, Robin, as you're sitting so close, she has the same eyes that Amelia does. So we don't talk about this very much, but Amelia has two different colored eyes. I believe gray and brown, correct?
Yes, one is a very pale gray and the other is a very pale hazel, so browny green.
Or sorry, brown and green, yes. And Triana has the same eyes. And she looks at you. Oh, so you're not dating Amelia?
No, actually. I'm fond of her for personal reasons, and she is interesting in certain aspects that I'm not sure she shared with you. That is not my place to, if you will forgive me.
You mean her ghostly sister?
Yes, that is exactly what I mean. Nah.
And she nods. I worry about her.
Oh, it's nothing to worry. We just need to find a necromancer that can tear the souls apart, and she'll be just waves a hand as if it's nothing.
Oh, right, a necromancer. We just have to go find one. And she looks at you. You're serious, aren't you? You think that's just a simple task.
My dear, I am magically skilled as a necromancer, though not powerful. There's that, and points to the ghost next to him, and then one following Amelia around. If I've learned anything, it's that as long as I'm hanging out with you, all necromancers just seem to fall out of the sky.
She kind of laughs. I suppose I can't fault you for that. So, Robin Thrace, what brings you here, anyway? You seem like an odd fit for this group. Not that I'm complaining, of course.
I was bored, so I came to spend some time in this town. And looks up at the cart towards Van Carlo. Van Carlo, attacked me thinking I was being him, which we'll argue in front of me profusely if you want about who had the upper hand. Kind of motions to his own chest. And then he disappeared. I sat around waiting for the so-called heroes of Kravosa, and here I am.
She kind of waves her hand dismissively. If he claims he won, he probably lost. In my experience, the things that Vincarlo does well, he tends to be quiet about.
Honestly, it was a bit of a draw, but I think he could have had me.
Uh-huh. She kind of side glances you. Yeah, he's getting old anyway.
Not that old yet. He still has to make it through this week.
She grins again. I like you, Robin.
Thank you, Triana. Smiles, leans back, and is going to pretend like he's resting.
So, who's that? And she points to the specter.
Well, now you're asking hard questions. That is Namara Vesely. He's not sure where to take that.
Right? And she nods. Uh-huh. A past acquaintance, I assume?
She was a young psionist that worked for my house. She's before even the existence of elves, as far as I'm aware, but at the time she looked kind of like she does when she has a face, at least. And, talked my mother into some loose tendrils to which I and her being a slave, myself being a noble son, fled to the surface. Didn't take long, she killed me, and he holds his arms open. I have found myself wonderful packages since. She, however, well, it's been kind of rocks his head back and forth. About 10 to 12 years since, possibly, that I've seen her. No, maybe less. Kind of rubs at his face, looks nervous, starts to get jittery, clenches teeth. Can we talk about something less bothersome than me having to talk to her whenever she, reformulates nostrils and eyes? And
Slap me senseless. I thought my life was hard. Yeah, sure, absolutely. What do you want to know? Or talk about? I'm not really much of a conversationalist. I'm more of a painter.
he will get in his bag and he will get out Salvatore Scream's painting of the teeny tiny drow city, and a whole lot of black, and show it to her.
She will examine it. Oh. And then she sees like the little telltale mark that Salvatore Scream and all artists leave on their paintings. Oh, Salvatore Scream. I never liked his work. Genius, brilliant artist, but the things he painted were very unsettling.
Well, I was kind of fond of them, actually.
Were you?
That is art, right?
Yes, it is art, and I can't deny the technique. He has a very interesting way of blending shadows to create realism. I'll give him that.
He pauses and he holds it up, kind of looking at it, and then rolls it back up and puts it back in his bag. He had a way of showing me things that I've forgotten. Not things that I liked, per se, as you can only love someone so much, but... And he kind of nudges his head towards his bag. That reminds me of home. I really felt a relation to him, right up until the point that I burned him alive.
She raises an eyebrow. Well, she kind of like hesitates. You've led a very interesting life, haven't you? Well, I'll say this. Art is meant to speak to everyone differently. And given some of the things I've painted in my life for commissions or for myself, I'm hardly someone that should be judging others for, shall we say, adult work. So, if his art meant something to you and spoke to you, then it can only be a good thing. But I'm still glad you killed him.
Oh, I'm glad he was in a cage. Rubs his head.
And she looks at him again and she goes, okay, there has to be a story there.
He will, in the most entertaining way he can possibly do, although he knows he's no bard, portray to her the events that happened at Salvatore's Scream since the point they entered the gate.
Okay.
Him sneaking through the back and the story of them fighting out in the yard and the Driders and the excitement of it.
So we'll say that takes place, and as you guys are approaching mid to late afternoon, Robin, you are telling her the tale of the final day of Salvatore Scream. You guys are making your way through like a small canyon. You're on a road, and there are raised walls on either side of you, which is not uncommon as you've been finding. And I am going to move you guys over to another map. Give me a second. I want to see if I can adjust everything. Yes, for no reason whatsoever. You guys, never you mind. Yes, that works quite nicely. Oh, except for Mary being way too large. I'll put Robin over here, Triana over there. Oh my gosh. Sorry, everyone, give me a moment. Actually,
We're
here.
disappearing.
You're all disappearing.
This happened in Ardenfell. Where's your brother, Amelia?
Don't even fucking
she
point
knows
at
now.
me.
She's aware now. You should have held on to him.
Squee, you're playing a dangerous game.
All right. Here, let me move you guys over to this other map for no discernible reason whatsoever. It'll take it a second to load, I'm sure. There you go. It should be loading for everyone, yes?
It's loading.
Yes.
There
loading, loading. Gotcha. Yeah, it's a fairly high-res map, so...
For no reason, right?
For no reason. Good. I'm glad that you guys are catching on. It's getting to be about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and you, Robin, we'll say you're finishing up the tale, and I would like everyone to roll me perception checks, please.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Did you say with?
Perception checks.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a with disadvantage attached to
No,
that.
no.
Why?
No, those outside the wagons might be doing it for different reasons than those inside the wagons. Okay.
Yeah, my wagon image is massively.
Oh, is it still loading?
No, it like literally took up 2 monitors. It's just spreading itself out there. Hang on, I
Kind of exploded just a little teeny tiny bit.
Would you mind resharing that with me, actually?
Yeah, sure. La, ta, ta, ta. There you go.
Thank you.
Boy, howdy, that's a big map.
It's a
It's a
thing.
big boy.
Squee,
Mhm.
would kitties be able to roll a perception check? And if so, would it rely on hearing or sense of smell?
A sense of smell, sure. Yeah, so do it with advantage. And hearing, yeah.
Portly.
Portly as well.
So should I do one just for Amelia, one for Amelia, and one for Annika, or just one at advantage?
I would just do one at advantage.
Okay.
Portly's focused on the rat.
Portly gets to do it at advantage for reasons.
Oh. Okay.
That was not an advantage. You lied to me. Roll 20. Or not roll 20.
Yeah, roll
fantasy
20.
ground.
How dare
damn.
you?
Fucking dare you. Oh,
Okay.
that's better.
Where is
Okay.
my dragon, Squee? Where is he?
Majenko.
It's gone.
Yes, sorry, I got caught up in the ceremony. Majenko has not returned yet. But, what range does he have to be in to be telepathic with you?
A mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too far away. Murray, we'll say, at some point while you hear Robin talking to Triana up on the wagon, telling a tale of the day of Salvatore Scream. You get a message in your mind. Mary, I am close.
She'll perk up. Machenko, it's good to hear your voice. Are you all right?
I am well, though I have been following one that is following you.
What do they look like?
There are two of them riding on... Well,
He can send me pictures.
Yeah. So you get a picture of two figures. From a bird's eye view, it's hard to tell much, but they appear to be medium-sized, riding like a really shaggy horse in armor, but it doesn't look like a horse. It looks more like a dog. It's really hard to tell. And while this is taking place...
Are they in, like, armor that I recognize?
One of them would be.
Hmm.
One of them would be wearing the armor of a Corvosan Crimson Guard.
Oh, okay.
All
Alright.
Rhea, about the same time, Portly starts getting excited, sniffing the air, and wagging its stumpy tail.
And about the same time, Weary leans out of the cart and says, Rhea, I do believe we're being followed by one of yours.
Oh, and she'll pull Portly back up to the cart. That could explain this. How do you know?
Majenko's on his way back. I may have him stop to speak to them.
Do you know how far they are?
About a mile. That's about the range of his abilities. It's likely that we could stop and wait for them to catch up.
Actually, and as you're saying that, you get an image from Machenko. They are catching up quickly. They are moving fast.
Run.
And she will say, excellent. Would you mind speaking to them? Just let them know that you are a friend of mine and that you can guide them to where we are.
I can do that. And then the communication stops. A few minutes pass by. And
Mary looks over to Rhea. I get the feeling they will be here very shortly.
So she'll just pull back, like after the carts, so she's the first thing that they would come up on.
And after a minute or two, Iso's head looks up, and her eyes widen. Drums. I hear drums. And Shala's face blanches as she listens. Oh no. And everyone within earshot, Weary, Robin, Triana, like when you call to your attention, you notice, and Aras, Kitty comes up to you, and I'm wondering, Kitty has a way of communicating with you somewhat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kitty
would do 3 taps on the side of the wagon that would let Aras know danger.
Right. This is more like something's unusual, right? Kitty's hearing something out of the ordinary. And you guys kind of start hearing a rhythmic beat of drums. It's very quiet, it's very echoey. Like it's echoing and rolling over the landscape.
And this is actual drums and not just something running on the ground.
No, it's too rhythmic and too complicated. Like very complex rhythmic drumming.
Would
And
it sound familiar?
no, it would not. Not Shawanti, if that's what you're thinking.
Okay.
And then Shala just suddenly eyes widen. Run! As fast as you can, the carts, run! And she stands up and she goes, Iso, I need your loot. And Iso, without hesitation, hands Shala the loot. Shala takes it out of the case and begins trying to climb out the window on top of the carriage.
All right, yeah, gonna go over there just in case she falls off.
Rhea, when you go, and as she's climbing out, she shouts at Triana, Run as fast as you can! My brother is attacking!
Wake up Isolanda and go safe.
I'm sorry?
Oh no, Miri is just picking up Isolanda.
Got you.
Keep her safe.
And, so, Triana kind of shouts ahead to Vincarlo, and the wagons start picking up pace unless someone objects to it.
Nah, man, go for it. Full steam ahead.
Okay. The wagons start steaming ahead at full speed. And Shala gets on top of the wagon and starts Robin, you can see her clothes starting to flap in the wind as the wagon picks up speed. She kind of entwines her feet in the luggage on top of the wagon and begins playing the lute. Yes, Robin.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have her be up there alone. Robin's like, fuck yes, he's finally here. And it's super exciting. And he's gonna get up there, but he's not an idiot. He's gonna wrap a rope around the luggage handle basically, and then around himself. Gotcha. Even if just around his waist loosely or a foot or something, just so he can stabilize himself.
Understood.
And he'll get out his hand crossbow and light.
And Shala starts playing a song that is rhythmic yet somehow counter to the drum beat. And the second she starts playing her counter charm, it becomes very obvious to everyone. The drum that was so hard to hear before is pounding against the cliffs now. Shala's counterspell making it easier to notice. I would like everyone to roll initiative. And I would also like everyone, at the beginning of each of your initiative turns, to roll me a wisdom saving throw with advantage. So you don't have to do it yet, but when we get to your turns. I don't know why I have two Shalas here. Let me get rid of that. And we need to add a few people, don't we? And just a heads up to you guys before this gets started, because there are a lot of moving parts here, especially with NPCs. I have done a lot of pre-rolling for things like Triana and Vincarlo, just to try and keep things going along at a decent clip. However, the thing is that since I don't know exactly what they will be doing, as I don't know how things are going to unfold, I have no idea what these rolls will actually be used for. So that'll be fun. And then there is Flack.
And a reminder that for Robin, Isolanda, Shala, and Ross, any ability checks you make, add a d4.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright, and then some other mystery people to be added a bit later, perhaps.
In that case, would it just be more efficient to cast Bless on them? That way they automatically have the D4 roll?
Yeah, might want to just do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me target.
Would attacks be considered an ability check?
No.
Doesn't Bless?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because what you're talking about is more guidance than anything else.
I can just cast guidance on them. I could do that.
Sure. You could do that.
Uh,
Well, but
would
that doesn't last.
work the same way?
No,
Yeah,
it doesn't. It doesn't
I
last.
think you're only...
No, we'll just have to keep memory.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I said that I wanted to use the boots to get on top of the wagon. Would I have been able to do that? before?
Yes. Yes, you would
Okay.
have.
And I have a super long range
Uh-huh.
on my thunder cannon.
Uh-huh. I'm aware.
Okay. That's
All right. So, Murray, we'll start with you. Roll me a wisdom save with advantage, please.
Advantage, wisdom, save.
Okay, 28. Murray, you look out the window and you see running towards you down the canyon several large monsters. They look incorporeal, almost like they are illusions or summoned. And you couldn't see them before, but now with Shala's counter charm making them much easier to spot, these beasts become apparent to you, and they are just charging down the canyon at you. Some of them running down the road, some of them running along the side of the wall. You've never seen anything quite like this, spectral yet real, dark yet not there, and they are very large. They're the size of horses,
Oh, okay.
and they are charging you. Give me a second. I have to roll their initiative. Oh. Jeez, okay. Well, Mary,
Yeah.
I'll save your turn for a little bit because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people rolled higher than you.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, and I
Yep.
rolled 19.
I know, right? So Flack is the one that actually rolled the highest. He has to roll his wisdom save. Give me a second here. Okay. I'm actually not going to use the pre-rolls for that because that's silly. That would use up all my pre-rolls. Oh yeah, he's fine. He can see him. He immediately wheels around with Toby and starts running with Toby to where Rhea is. And he kind of steps up abreast of Rhea and goes, "We fight big cats now?" And he's just going to ready an action to swing at one of them if they get close enough, because he's not quite sure what they're doing, right?
Mhm.
But hang on a second. Let me move this over here. Of course, it's all of you. All right. Beast 9 is next, and he charges. And gets to there. As they are very fast, but obviously they're trying to catch up to a cart that's running at almost 30 miles an hour. So they are faster, obviously, but not incredibly. Triana is going to spend her turn driving the cart. And then this one moves up to here. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I got nom-noms. And then... Give me a second here. As this one moves up to here. And they are quickly closing on you all. That's them. And then Vincarlo is also going to spend his turn driving the cart, but he will draw his rapier. And now, Weary, we are to you. And
Maybe back in a second.
sure, I should actually ask. So I should ask, How's everyone doing? Obviously, this is the start of a battle, and it's 11:19. Is this something that we want to continue for a bit? Do we want to kind of stop and save this for next week? What are we thinking here?
Shoot them.
Shoot them! We can.
Yeah,
we
I'm
can.
fine.
We can go on
I'm
for a
good.
bit more. I don't know if we'll finish combat tonight, but we can at least do some. Or if not, I mean, who knows?
Them all.
You don't have to get up at 3?
No. Sky's got me tomorrow.
Gotcha. All right. Well, then let's kill some stuff.
Hell yeah.
Muri, it is your turn.
Is it? Okay, my bad.
No, it's fine.
Well, what has moved around?
Flack has moved back to where Rhea is, and 3 of the spectral beasts have started closing the distance. You can guess that even with the speed of the cart, with their speed, they'll probably be on you next round.
Okay, and we are moving very fast.
About 30
correctly?
miles an hour, yeah.
30 miles an hour, oh boy.
Oh, yeah, hang on, sorry. There you go.
Okay, hold on. Trying to figure out what I can and cannot do here.
And the whole time, the drumming and the lute continue to battle each other. Which, by the way, for the time being, will be Shala's movements and actions as she continues to just cast Counter Charm. It's very clear to most of you at the moment that as long as she is casting Counter Charm, you have advantage on your Wisdom saving throws to see these things. If she stops, it's going to get very much harder.
Oh boy.
Gotta love them
Okay.
assassins.
Is that concentration? Thank God it's not. Okay, how far away are you? We're just gonna cast Aid, and she is going to cast it at... Let me see here. She's going to cast it at... 2nd level. Yeah. She's gonna cast it at 4th level. So, how many people? 3 people. Rhea, Flack, Robin, you get your hit point maximum, and your hit point maximum increases by 10, and you get 10 temporary hit points. And let me make sure that's all that you get, I think.
So probably the best way to handle this for everyone is just give yourself 10 temporary hit points that can be healed back up. That's going to be the easiest way to track it.
Okay.
That lasts
Well,
for 8 hours. So.
Except for you,
And
Robin.
then,
I don't think that can be healed back up.
No.
and then with her prayer beads, she will cast Bless. Does this stack with ceremony?
What is ceremony doing exactly?
Ceremony, yes, it does, because they're for different things. Okay. So ceremony is giving the people that were in the ceremony, I think besides Weary, because she was the caster,
Mm-hmm.
they get
the plus
a
D4.
D4 to ability checks, blessed as saving throws, and attack rolls.
Gotcha. Yes, correct. So they do stack because they aren't the same thing.
Yes.
So
okay.
basically, for the time being, consider they have who you're casting it on.
Let me see. This is a
Oh, and how long does ceremony last for?
ceremony. It lasts for 24 hours.
Gotcha.
Bless at level 1, and I don't think I can upcast it because it's for my prayer beads, so just
Correct.
3 people.
I believe it's
Let me
3
see.
targets.
It's gonna be probably Rhea, Flack, and Shala. Sorry, Robin. I need her to
Gotcha.
be
Oh,
good
that's
on
fine.
her shit.
So Shala is well.
Yeah,
I'll
so let me target and cast.
gotcha. Shala basically has a +4 to everything at the moment.
Oh,
Or a +1 d4.
there you go.
Sweet. Perfect.
Didn't add it to flak for some reason.
I'll add it to
I am
flag.
targeting him.
No, it only shows that you're targeting Shala and Rhea.
What, really?
That's
Hmm.
all.
On my
Mhm.
screen, it's showing that I'm
Oh,
targeting him.
it showed it for a second and it disappeared. Click on
Okay,
him.
how about now?
No, click on him again. Weird.
No, I'm not. There it is. Okay, I don't know why it did that. Let me see if that works. There we go. I don't know what that did.
I don't know either. I'll
I
just
think it
add this to him.
Did it? I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
fine. I'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I don't know why it's not doing that.
No, it's fine.
The other two fine. And as she is casting and then bonus action casts, she will hold Isolanda tightly and say, "Stay close to me, and I will keep you safe."
ISO is just looking up at your eyes, unafraid, unexpressionist. Hang on a second.
Yeah, these are some very yappy beasts.
That's just Portly.
He's very excited.
He gets to play with some big cats.
Wally saw a lizard,
Uh,
and he turned to Tuwok, the warrior hunter.
Bloodthirsty killer mode.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Wally, buddy. Sorry, please continue. Anything else, Murray?
that is it for her turn.
Okay, Robin.
Yeah. God, these things are gonna catch up on Rhea really fast. I am going to go ahead and, while I have a chance, take a shot at beast number 9. No, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I was pondering difficult terrain and making that, but that's not going to help me.
I
'Cause they're
understand.
probably speedy with their little speedy legs. Let me shoot.
They're also spectral, so
Yeah, that might be a thing. Oops, I didn't mean to roll that one. I meant to roll this one, which does not.
give me a second.
Yes.
I mean,
that
it says that it hits.
hits. Yeah,
Mhm.
their AC is 14.
Get him, Wally.
Nicely done. 5 damage. Guys, give me 1 second. I'm going to go show Wally that there is no lizard there, and then I'll be right back.
Go
Please
for
save
it.
the poor puppy.
He's so scary.
So scary.
It's the most scary.
I think also the yelping after the bark means that he's also very scared.
Lizards are terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
He's lulling it into a false sense of confidence.
I just imagine the lizard is putting up one heck of a fight. And then I remember it's probably not that big of a lizard. I mean, if it were, say, one of those falling iguana,
Right? Those don't exist. That's a myth.
He'd be fine if it's a falling iguana. It's
I can,
currently in sleep mode.
I can assure
mean,
you
the
all,
size.
it is pure excitement on his part. He does that anytime he sees a squirrel or a lizard. There's no fear there. He is just, he wants. All right, sorry about that. Robin, well done. You hit it with the crossbow. Anything else on your turn?
Nope, that would be it.
Gotcha. All right.
Reload.
Okay. Then it is Amelia's turn.
So since the majority of my spells are out of range, I need to double check something real quick. Is it far away? Don't like it.
It's probably not.
Actually, it is out of range because that's only 60 feet.
Really? I thought it was further than that.
She will use Firebolt. So, why is it connecting from flat to what the fuck? There we go. Interesting. So Firebolt. Oof.
The firebolt flies from your hand and impacts the rock around them. It blows off the rock a little bit, but does not hurt them.
Boo. Okay, and turn.
Rhea, your turn.
Oh boy. Okay.
So here's what I'm going to say. We are going to keep things simple, we are going to keep your speed relative to them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you're running with the horses. You can move up or back 4 spaces. Well, you can move back enormous amount of spaces, but you can move up 4 spaces per turn, just to keep things simple.
Okay. Well, firstly, I'll use my bonus action to activate, let me mark it off, one of my throwing materia. And then I'm going to yeet my rapier at one of them.
I love it.
Let me see, which one of these rapiers hacks is it? There's so many. Alright. Yay, I hit.
That is a hit.
And because why not? I'll throw a smite onto that.
He's really excited about that.
So first level smite's 2d8, so an extra 11 damage.
11 plus, what was the regular damage?
Plus, oh, oops, did it not roll that?
No, it did not.
That's wild. Plus an extra 4.
Okay. So, give me a second here. That is okay. Nice. Your rapier hits it in the side, and it actually stumbles a little bit, falling back a step, before it continues charging. And you get the impression that if you could hit these things hard enough, you might be able to trip them up. And at this speed, tripping them up would be bad.
Mm-hmm.
You think to yourself.
Right. And Portly will use his action to dash. I don't know if you want me to move around the carts, because she would be trailing behind it.
Yeah, so where do you want to dash to?
So, Driana would have been keeping the cart moving forward, so she'd be still the same distance behind the cart, just moving up.
No, right, got you. So we're going to assume that's going to be the case, just to keep things simple. If you want to, like I said, you can move upwards up to 4 spaces, or backwards, almost as much as you want. You know what I mean? But got you. So we'll assume for the time being that Portly is keeping pace.
Right.
Gotcha. Perfect. Anything else on your turn?
Bonus action. No.
Gotcha. All right, beast number 6. Charging straight for you. Aras, your turn.
So Aras is going to target the displacer beast that just ran up, number 6. And shooting for thunder cannon. Oh, first shot goes wide. She will activate the second barrel as well.
That's a hit.
$19 points damage.
Nicely
And-
done. To which one?
Number 6.
Number 6. Got you. Number 6 actually stumbles a little bit as it gets hit by the bullet.
And Kitty will drop back to be one step diagonal, like above Rhea, like behind Rhea. That's a pretty far distance, but is that okay for her to?
Yeah, because I mean she's just like running the other direction, so like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. All she has to do is basically start running the other direction, and she'll get there really quick.
And she will stay there for now. She doesn't want to put herself out in front of Rhea and say
Understood.
trip up portly.
Understood. That was Kitty. Shala spends her turn continuing counterspell. Oh my gosh! I did not have you guys roll your wisdom checks. We'll just leave it for now, but we gotta remember, you gotta roll your wisdom saves, otherwise you can't even see these things. And you're gonna have disadvantage to attack them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because you are currently under the dueling instrument charm. Flack, seeing Rhea attack, and like goes and like charges forward straight to Displacer Beast 6, and makes a charging attack on him. Let's see here. That is a hit, so he makes a thundering charge, so he does 10 damage plus, as he is a cavalier doing a thundering okay, that's weird. Okay, fine, I'll just roll 2d6 then. 4, he does 14 damage, and it has to... Why is he not... This is so weird. Why is he not targeting these things? Whatever. It has to make a strength saving throw. Where's this place to be 6? Yeah, it's weird. Flack, that's probably why you couldn't target him, Mary. Flack's not acting like a character at the moment for some reason.
No, that's weird.
So it's taken 33 points of damage, and... Ho! So, Flack runs up to it, and actually Flack and Toby run underneath it and pass through it, cutting at its legs as it passes through, and actually knocks it prone as Toby comes out the other side. That is all Flack can do. Displacer Beast 9 runs up to here and seems to be focusing on what's directly in front of it and makes an attack at Kitty. Kitty and Rhea, you would see this. This beast actually looks like spectral tentacles whip out from it and attempt to attack Kitty twice. Okay. I don't know why.
With disadvantage for the first one.
It should have been definitely not at advantage. I don't know why it's doing that. Give me a second here. Oh. Get out of here with that nonsense. Alright, let me re-roll that, because that should have been a disadvantage, not with advantage. Disadvantage, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that misses. And then the second attack. Okay, what? What? Hang
Oh,
on.
Kitty's unconscious.
Why is Kitty unconscious? Oh no! When did Kitty get knocked unconscious?
A long time ago.
All right, give me a second.
That was like
Let
a
me
while ago.
re-roll this.
I wasn't a
Hang on.
factor.
Okay, that's a hit. Yes, 13.
Yes.
No, so that's yes. So hit and does 14 points of damage to Kitty with the second attack. Triana continues guarding the wagon. Actually, hang on. Wally, stop. Buddy, seriously, stop barking at the cat. Give me a second. Yeah, I'll use that next roll for her perception. Triana actually puts the reins down, stands up, and starts swinging her chain, spinning it more and more and more. And she's looking up above you, and she goes, "Above us!" As... As she calls out, you see more displacer or of these spectral beasts on the cliffs up above you. And this guy gets to here. Actually, no, he would only get to here. He's running on the wall, kind of. Yeah, he'd get there to Rhea. Rhea!
Yeah.
He is going to attack you. This is your first attack. Is a miss. Second attack is a miss. Well, he tried. An attempt was made. This displacer beast, I call them displacer beasts, they're not quite. They're spectral beasts. Makes it down here and starts going towards the wagon. Then Carlos, continuing to drive the wagon. Miri, roll me a wisdom save, please.
With advantage, correct?
With advantage, yes.
Okay, advantage. Wisdom save.
You save, you can still see him.
Sick. Okay. Problem is that most of the stuff she can do stays in one spot, and we're going very fast. So we can see out of the back of the wagons, correct?
Yeah, there's a window back there.
Okay, so I have a pretty good view of. Hypothetically, shall we say, is Displacer Beast 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Well, that
So she
failed, so
casts
go ahead and do
Sacred
damage.
Flame.
Yeah. Nice. Doing 9 points of damage to 1.
I believe that's it for her.
Got you. So a shot of flame flies down from the heavens and hits it. Robin.
Wisdom save with advantage.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Excellent at those. Hey.
Robin, you're going to be at disadvantage to attack any of them as momentarily they turn more spectral than tangible, and you can't quite tell where they are. They look like floating mist. As this round, the charm takes its hold on you.
Okay. So unable to see them and not really being able to do too much damage without people next to them. That's a lot of downsides. he's going to. Man, that sucks.
You can still attack them. You'd just be at disadvantage.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. I get it.
Advantage, one shot, crossbow. I could sneak. Lower crossbow reaches forward, starts targeting the sides of the walls up here because Triana called out. So, and is going to just start pulling off whatever loose rocks he can using mold earth to try and make it difficult terrain.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I don't know if it'll hit one. He's just gonna pick a random slot and tear the ground out around it.
All right, you pick me a random slot. I'm gonna have them. I have a planned trajectory for them, so to speak. We'll see what happens. So pick me a spot.
Here? Oh, I'm not sure how to mark.
Oh, both mouse buttons. Just hold them both down. Gotcha. So
Yes.
right here. So I think it's actually this. Nope, that's not that. Shift. There. Okay. Nice. So you tear that out. Is that your turn?
Yep, that's all I got.
All right. Well, you really should be in the lead, shouldn't you, buddy? 1, 2, 3. He's gonna have to stop right there, and make himself a dexterity check. Oof. All right, Robin. It slows him down, but he manages to save himself from falling over as the ground underneath him literally gets ripped out. It's a very nice try, and if you manage to succeed and do that again, they have to make dexterity checks on it. Because they're running at very fast speeds.
Excellent. He has no idea if it worked or not still.
Right. Amelia.
Cool. So, wisdom save at advantage.
Yes, please.
Let's see if it actually gives me advantage this time. Probably not, since I keep calling it fantasy ground.
But it is fantasy.
Or fucking 16 enough, God!
You can see them.
Yay! Cool. So... Have any of them taken damage, like, at all? I don't think they have, but...
A lot of them have, actually.
Seriously?
Hang on. Yeah, so...
Oh, wait, no.
9 and 6.
9 and 6 have taken damage, and 6 is actually prone and falling very far behind you at the moment.
Oh, okay.
1's also taking damage.
Okay, actually, no, that's out of range for what I was wanting, so I will instead. Could you please, for the love of God? There we go. So Amelia's going to cast at Beast 5. Yeah!
That is definitely a hit. Please roll damage.
I keep forgetting how high her modifier is.
Yeah, she's pretty crazy. Okay, 6 points of damage to number 5. Well done.
And would it be possible to use Annika in this situation to give Aras advantage on her sharpshooting and shit?
In this particular, you'd have to give me an example. I'm open to being convinced.
Well, just kind of like in the same way that
You know what? I would say this. Helps her see them better, so sure. You know what I mean? Like Annika's second pair of eyes.
essentially, yeah. I don't know. It's weird with the velocity that the cart's going because
Mhm.
apparently she moves slower or something like that. But also like we're in the yeah. Speed and relativity physics is weird with ghosts. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, in that case, she will send Annika up to be a
Aid for us.
yes.
Gotcha. All right, Aras. Weird, creepy Annika comes next to you and like says something creepy. I'm sure, like, "I will help," or you know,
Just,
typical
like, float up
Annika.
through the floor.
Yeah,
I mean, through the roof.
like her head just pops up through the roof.
Well, that's
Just
the
points
perfect
like
height. Stay
that one.
right there. That's the, and Ross like helps use her head to help steady the gun.
If only that worked. You'd just plow through her.
Oh, you are not supposed to be there yet. Sorry. It is Ria's turn.
Yay. Okay, so I will attempt to hit this one twice.
Okay.
Oh, wait. My mistake.
Why hit?
Because I have to roll a thing. But I got the thing.
Oh, right. Yes. Thank you. Because I keep forgetting. But yes, so that hit. Please do damage.
So, max damage.
Very nice. Would you like to do your other attack?
Yes,
That
I
is a
would.
hit as well.
For not max damage. That's fine. And then, just in case, because he's a squishy boy and I'd rather not be running right now, I'm gonna cast Sanctuary on Portly as a bonus action.
Gotcha. By the way, your attack pushes it back a little bit as it stumbles. It doesn't push it back, it just slows it down a little.
Mm-hmm. And, I guess I'll just have him continue dashing, keeping up with the cart.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I don't know why you guys keep going first, but they get to here. Yes, hang on one second. Okay, sorry about that. He gets to there. And you guys can all see, well, Robin, it's kind of distorted for you, but this guy is looking ready to leap at the wagon. 8 gets to here. 6. 6, for all intents and purposes, is gone. It got knocked prone by Toby, or by Flack and Toby, and by the time it gets itself back up and orients itself, you guys are long gone because you are moving so quickly down the canyon. So finding ways to knock these things prone could be very beneficial, especially given their numbers. Aras, your turn.
Funny you should mention that.
Mm-hmm.
Kitty's actually going to attack the same one that attacked her. And because Rhea is within 5 feet, will she have advantage for pack attack?
Absolutely.
Hits Beast 9. The 20. So 6 more points of damage, and he has to make a DC 13 strength save.
Alright, which one is it? 9?
9, yes.
Give me 1 second. Strength save. He makes it. Nice try, though. And I'm so sorry, you guys will have to give me a second. I'll be right back.
Guys, quick, while he's not looking, just strip all of them.
Ah!
Don't worry.
I might have a way to force them to move, which might be fun.
We just take the displacer beasts and push them somewhere else.
Exactly.
Really hope Kitty makes it through.
Well, if she does go down, I'll stop and scoop her up.
Or, those trailing behind us could do that.
Okay, my apologies. I am back.
How
Did I-
dare you?
Ross, Kitty has gone. What about you?
So first I have to make a wisdom check?
Correct. Wisdom saving throw with advantage. Technically, so should have Kitty.
Well, can a machine get charmed?
Um.
Are constructs able to be
Yeah,
charmed?
no, that's a good point. So I'll exempt Kitty from that. Good point. Ross, you're
Yeah.
fine. You can see them.
Okay. And Kitty made her.
Yeah. Well, she won't have to from now on. That's a fair point. I don't think constructs can be charmed.
Mm-hmm.
So, aiming at Beast 9. Well, Aras will first reload and then shoot.
With advantage.
Well, hang on. Before you do that, I was going to say he would have 3/4 cover from you, as
Doesn't
you'd have
matter.
to be shooting. Oh, that's right. Look at you,
Yep.
sharpshooter. I'm so proud. That's still a miss. That's a hit.
So, but with, the
Oh yeah, that was with
yeah.
advantage. So that's a hit. Go ahead and do your damage. Nicely
Jesus
done.
Christ.
Sick. And that's her turn.
Gotcha. Okay. 9 is pushed back even further and not looking so hot. All right. You get up to here. That's that, and then Kitty, you've already gone. I really should probably move Kitty to be with Ross. So that's what, 4. Da. Shala continues her counter charming. Flack spins around, and he has to turn around, so he's actually going to get to about here. He's not going to make it back in time as he approaches them from the rear. Next is Beast number 9, who's been getting hit pretty hard. Runs back up. Actually is going to 1, 2, 3, 4. Kitty, you get an attack of opportunity as it runs right past you. That is a miss, as it makes 2 attacks on the wagon itself, which are not hard to hit. So
You're doing damage to Kitty.
I should not be doing damage to Kitty. I am sorry, Kitty. You could remove... I'll remove that 22 points of damage. But 22 points of damage go to the wagon. Kitty only has 14 points of damage, so it begins tearing at the back of the wagon. Robin, you can feel the wagon shudder as the Displacer Beast makes attacks upon it. Next is Triana. So, this is... Triana's going to hold her action. I'm going to go ahead and just resolve this now. as just to keep things simple. Triana is standing up there. She's spinning her chain. And this displacer beast right here is charging and jumping at the wagon. She is holding her action till it actually jumps, and I'm just going to go ahead and resolve that now, unless anyone has any objections. Yes? No?
Go for it.
Gotcha.
Go for it.
All right, so... that is definitely a hit. And... okay. So here's what happens. The displacer beast jumps from the cliff directly towards the wagon. At the same time, Triana lets loose the chain, and it smashes directly into the face of the displacer beast. And that is number 4. Catching it mid-air with a really good roll, causing it to make a dex check, which it saves. Keeping it from hitting the wagon, but it hits the ground and maintains its footing. But doing 11 damage to it and keeping it from actually hitting the wagon itself. So that'll be her turn, and its turn, consequently. Next up is Displacer Beast 1, who is going to run past Rhea. You get an attack of opportunity.
Alright, let me make sure I'm targeting that one.
Definitely a hit, and 10 points of damage as it runs past you and makes attacks on the wagon. As these things seem to clearly have a target. Those are both... no, one of those is a miss, actually. So only does 13 points of damage to the wagon. The back of this wagon's starting to look a little rough, guys. I mean, these are sturdy wagons, but these things also do a lot of damage. Displacer Beast 7. Stop, Wally. This one actually runs up and jumps up and tries to attack Shala. Oh. Hey. Hey, Yoon, he got the toy. Wally just grabbed a toy off my desk. Shala. That's a hit? Really? Shala, that's not right. Your AC is not that low. AC, she should have mage armor. It should be 15, so that's a miss. Well, she doesn't have armor, but she has mage armor, which would be a 15 AC, so that's a miss. Well, which is very lucky. As it tries to make a swipe at Shala, and Robin, you see, like it's kind of connected to the wagon. It's on top of the wagon, but it's not damaging. It was actually swiping at Shala, but it's still there. Does that make sense? All right, Vincarlo kind of sucks. He's out of the action right now. Miri, your turn.
I have a question. So, can I center something?
Like your chi?
Sure. Can I center... so, say a spell says, this is centered on a point within range that you can see. Can it be on the wagon so it comes with us?
Depends on what the spell is.
This one in particular would be Guardian of Faith.
No, Guardian of Faith does not move. It covers an area, not an object.
Okay, well, that's kind of limited as to what she can do. But what she can do is everybody in the wagon hears a whole lot of humming. Really angry humming as the hive wakes up. It's been dormant for a while because it took kind of a beating from the Grey Maidens.
It did.
Yeah, and Mary will lean out and throw a handful of bees.
What? Okay.
So, essentially what this spell does, they have to make a Constitution saving throw, or take 2d6 poison damage. And I believe if they fail, they are forced to move 5 feet in a random direction.
Okay, gotcha. And they take damage
So
as
if
well,
they
right?
have to move back, they are going to have to slam on the brakes.
Right, and they take damage as well, I believe, right?
Yes, it's 2d6 poison damage.
Alright.
Where did I put it? There it is. Target must succeed on a Constitution save. Weary spell save DC is 17.
Which target is it?
I am targeting number 1.
Number 1, gotcha. Give me a second here. And it's a Constitution, and it's a DC 17.
Yep. Roll a d4 for the direction: 1 north, 2 south, 3 east, 4 west. This movement does not provoke opportunity attacks. If the direction is blocked, the target doesn't move.
What direction is it?
South.
2 is south?
Yep.
Gotcha. So it actually slams into the wall and climbs it a little bit and takes 2d6 damage. Go ahead and roll for me. Nice. So he takes 5 points of damage and moves a little bit back. That's actually not bad. Okay.
Prepare to see a lot of bees, guys.
Bees
We're trying to get
everywhere.
them the fuck away from the wagon.
Bees.
I love them.
Robin,
Yeah.
roll me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh, I should have done
With
that
advantage.
too. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, Murray, if you could. Well, I mean, Murray, it's not going to be hard for you, but you could roll 2 1s. Who knows? Robin, you can see them just fine, especially the one that just tried to attack Shala. In fact, there's a lot of them around your wagon.
All right.
There you go. I'm assuming I see him.
Yeah.
Robin boops his crossbow into the driver's seat. He's gonna pull out his daggers and slide down to there. Is that a standable position?
It is. It's like a ledge for like luggage and such.
I stand on the luggage and such ledge. And I would like to stab this one right next to Shala,
Gotcha.
because I hate it.
All right, Gollum. Go get it.
It's going to kill our bard!
It's a hit. That's definitely a hit.
How will I ever get music again if it kills my bard?
We hate it.
Then I can marry those. It's okay too.
And yeah, I was gonna say, and it definitely gets sneak attack. Nicely done. 23 points of damage. That is clinging to the wagon. Give me a second here. No, Robin. Describe exactly what you do to it, but you make it lose its grip and fall.
Oh, I just slide around and stab anywhere into it that I can get purchased because I'm trying to separate it from Shala. I don't give a fuck that it's on the wagon. I care that it's touching Shala.
Well, you through
Trying to.
luck or instinct, you hit it right in the shoulder joint with your dagger and slide down, and it causes it to lose its grip and fall prone onto the ground, like onto its side with a and like slides back this way as you guys keep traveling. Dust filling your nostrils as it hits the ground. There's actually a yeah, I'm gonna say there's actually a thunk as the wagon wheel goes over it. All right. Displacer Beast 5.
Bonus action dodge.
Oh, gotcha. Perfect. Which is really good because Robin, Displacer Beast 5 jumps down and tries to pounce upon you. So probably an excellent thing to dodge. Did you put the dodge effect or should I put it at disadvantage?
Oh, I have a dodge effect?
I don't know. I didn't remember. I'm just going to put him at disadvantage.
Okay. I don't
Attack.
think I have a dodge effect.
That's a miss, and attack 2 is... Oh, hang on. That needs to be a disadvantage. Also a miss. Robin, this thing jumps down upon you, and 2 tendril-like limbs lash out at you, but you're able to easily dodge them as it hits the ground running next to you. Amelia.
Cool. So gonna do the thing with the wisdom and the saving at the advantage. It's not rolling at advantage. Why is it
Okay, that is not good enough. No, so you.
Yeah, no, it's not rolling at advantage
Oh,
for some
good,
reason.
good.
Oh,
Oh, well.
doesn't fucking matter. It's fine.
Not good. They
Can't
are
see.
hard to see. If you were to roll any attacks, they'd be at disadvantage.
That's fine. Let's see if disadvantage works. Oh, that works.
This is awesome. Nice. Fuck you.
Fine. Cool. Okay.
Sigh. So yeah, it's hard to see as the drums fill your ears.
And then Annika will continue to assist it.
Gotcha. Rhea, roll me a wisdom
boy.
save with advantage, please.
Yeah.
That is a save. You
It
have
would
saved.
be kind of hard for me to. I don't think I can miss, can I?
I don't think so, no. Actually,
So-
don't worry about rolling them. The DC is 12, so...
Yeah. So, attacking this guy.
That's a hit. 6 damage. Okay, he is not looking good. That's another hit. Another 4 damage. So these things are quite chunky. They can take quite a lot of damage, though this one's getting hurt a lot, and it stumbles as you kind of nip at its back legs, and it falls back a bit.
I want to get rid of this thing. Can I drop a smite onto that?
Sure, you can. 10 damage. All right. So how much damage did you total? It did 6, 10, so 20 damage total?
20.
That's just enough. It saves. It stumbles back, but it's hurt. It's hurt bad.
All right. And then that'll move to about there.
Yeah, smart call. And you can see, like, Robin, you can see too, now that you're back here, this part of the wagon's taken a beating. You can both see that. Anything else on your turn, Rhea?
That was my action. I don't think I used bonus action. No. Yeah. All right. So, fuck. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I don't know. I had a thing.
Mhm.
I can't find it now.
That happens. Usually it's my car keys.
That's disappointing. Fuck. Come on.
I believe in you.
I don't know. Don't worry about it. I can't find it.
Okay. Well then.
Ooh. Oh no, they won't stack. Never mind.
Gotcha. Displacer Beast 3 jumps to the wagon right here. Murray, you're leaning out the window throwing bees at things. It's going to target you.
Okay.
Attack 1 is a miss. Attack 2 is a miss. Okay. I imagine you managed to pull inside and avoid the attacks as it hits the ground running next to you. 8 is going to jump over here and attack the cart. Those are both hits. So another oof. Oh, yikes. 22 points of damage. The wagon shudders as more damage is done to it. It's still standing, the wheels are still intact, but it cannot take a lot more damage to the back like this. Aras.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Displacer Beast number 9. Kitty
Mhm.
isn't, like, wouldn't get an attack of opportunity if Kitty moved up to Displacer Beast number 5 and attacked it, right?
Technically, no. I would say it wouldn't. Here, let me.
'Cause
Yeah, let me.
they weren't in melee.
Yeah, let me readjust these a little bit to make it more. This is here because they're not quite in the squares they should be. So no, technically you would still be in melee, but you wouldn't be leaving its melee, so you're fine.
Okay. So Kitty's gonna scoot up.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom save with
That's fine. You're good. Oh well, Kitty doesn't need to.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, well she's going to attack Placer Beast number 5.
Gotcha.
Of course not.
Hit it. Bite it.
Stupid thing won't let me target it.
Here. There you go. I'll just put it on Kitty for now. Alright, it's targeted. Oh no.
Nope. Okay.
Sorry, Kitty.
Cool. And for Ross with advantage, right?
Yes. Oof, those are 2 misses.
Okay. But that's okay.
So then with Annika aiding, would it just be a normal check then to hit them?
Yes, on the first one.
Cool.
Okay.
Which one you shooting at?
Ross is first going to cast Branding Smite
Okay.
at 3rd level.
Which is a bonus action, right?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
Well, you can choose to cast that after you've hit.
Oh.
Can't you?
No, that's not.
No,
that's
that has to be
No.
before.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
thinking of a
okay.
regular paladin smite. Yeah, this is a spell.
Yep. So, but it lasts for up to a minute until I hit.
Right. So bonus action to cast and then fire. It's at level 3, so I think it's what 3d6 or something.
Ooh, I didn't mean to do it would be
It's
3d6. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and roll again, but not an advantage because one of those would have missed and one of those would have hit, and I have no idea which is which.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Was on.
That's a hit. On
Nice.
which one? Displacer Beast 5?
Oh, yes. So
Wow.
16 plus
16
3d6.
plus 3d6. Get over that 20. Nicely done. So 16 plus another 12 to Displacer
28.
5. Yeah, I gotta add that 12 real
20.
quick. So that's taking 34 damage total, and it fails, and
Nice.
your shot hits it in the eye, and it basically it rears its head to the left as its eye gets hit, and crashes right into the rock wall and falls prone and starts sliding backwards as you all run past it. Nice.
It's also a little beacon of light as it flies away into the distance.
Very true. Robin, here's your chance to jump on it. You can see it. Displacer Beast 4 has already taken its turn as Triana hit in the face with her chain, and Shala is continuing her counter charm. As she's playing, she says, "Thank you, Robin," and continues playing. We're going to have to call it here for now, as I can't keep playing eternally as much as I would love to. Can we just...
You started this fight, Squee, and now you're gonna end... No.
Can we just D&D forever? Do we need jobs? I don't want jobs. I just want D&D. But hey, this gives you guys a week to strategize, because this wagon cannot take many more hits.
Rough. Yeah.
It cannot take. But you have found, and I'll go ahead and just, I'll just take him off the map, because if you can knock them prone, it's the same as basically killing them, because they just can't catch up anymore. The speed you're
Mhm.
running, the speed they were running, by the time they get up, they're non-combatants anymore. However, I would like to end this session. As the turn order ends, Rhea, and you're fighting, you look up above as you hear, Rhea! And you see a German shepherd outfitted in metal armor, with your sister Claire riding atop it, and Van Kasterkin clutching her waist on the cliff above you.
And a little purple dragon on her shoulder.
No, Majenko's flying. Are you kidding me? They were a little freaked out by him.
Oh, probably.
But they will be joining combat next round.
Yay.
Oh man. So we're gonna call it there this week, guys. Strategize, figure out what you want to do. There's yep, you could do this. This is definitely winnable. But you also need to take them out fast. All right. So we'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.